Following a thrilling NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race earlier this afternoon, it is time for the NASCAR Xfinity Series to take turn at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on this 1.5-mile drafting high-speed racetrack as we get set for a 250-mile, 163-lap race here today. Welcome everybody to the stream. This is again our third and final stream of the day. Had Cup Series qualifying late in the morning into the early afternoon, followed by the truck race that wrapped up a little over an hour ago. And now here we are for the Xfinity Series race to round out our triple header Saturday of action. National anthem already concluded. Drivers are actually just at the moment firing engines as the command has been given. And we will be racing here in a matter of minutes. So before we get into the race, of course, we have to go through the starting lineup for this one. And it as follows on screen. RCR locking out the front row here this weekend for the second consecutive week, I might add. Of course, at Daytona last week, Austin Hill dominated. Jesse Love got the win. They're both on the front row at Atlanta again here today, just as they were a season ago. Dominated by Jesse Love a year ago, where he led the most laps, Austin Hill was the winner of the race. Hill has won 4 of the last 5 Xfinity Series races at Atlanta, trying to get another one in his home state, home track again here today. So Love and Hill on the front row with Jesse Love on the pole. In row number 2, it'll be Josh Williams and Justin Allgaier. Row 3 for Sam Mayer and Taylor Gray in the 54. Brandon Jones trying to have a better go at it after crashing out last week at Daytona. Carson Kvapil, who also got an incident but still made it a little deeper in the race, will start in row 4. In row number 5 will be Christian Eckes and the young gun Connor Zilic at Junior Motorsports. William Sawalich, who wrecked out of the truck race earlier today, will be in double duty as he'll be inside of row 6 for the Xfinity race. Sammy Smith for Junior Motorsports to the outside. Daniel Dye and Ryan Sieg will line up in row number 7. Sieg, another one of those Georgia natives in the field. In row number 8, it'll be Nick Sanchez and Eric Almirola. Sheldon Creed with Anthony Alfredo in row number 9. Creed came very close to a win last week in the Xfinity race. And rounding out the top half of the field will be Harrison Burton and Jeb Burton, 2 drivers who had top 10s last week at Daytona, starting in row number 10. CJ McLaughlin and Dean Thompson will be in row number 11. Parker Retzlaff, Jeremy Clements, row 12. Blaine Perkins, Ryan Ellis, row 13. Kyle Sieg with Chris Wright in row 14. Behind them in row 15 will be Leland Honeyman and Matt DiBenedetto. Row 16 for Brennan Poole and Josh Bilicki. Poole also pulling off double duty. In the row 17 position will be Garrett Smithley and Nick Lights. Carson Ware, Mason Massey in row 18. And rounding out our 38-car field today in row 19 will be Mason Maggio and Joey Gase. So 38 cars, full field for the Xfinity Series here this afternoon. 45 laps in stages 1 and 2. Final stage will be 73 laps to take us to the finish. Fuel window will be a little bit longer than what the Truck Series had today, but right around 60 laps, give or take, under green flag conditions. Patrick Chatterley, William Wiley, welcome into the stream. You guys are the first in the chat down below. Got 3 in-car cameras, 2 separate broadcast feeds. That's the way. And Keegan's commentary. There we go. I'll keep you covered as well as I can. Had a great race earlier on during the Truck Series event. A relatively clean race, but a good one at that. And Kyle Busch winning in a photo finish with Stuart Friesen, 17 1/1000ths of a second, the margin of victory. Will we see something similar in our Xfinity and Cup races through the rest of the weekend? I believe PRN on the radio broadcast for this race, as they usually are for the SMI racetracks. Can't wait to get this thing started. How can you not have your racing juices flowing after the finish of the truck race earlier today? Didn't have to wait very long. We got another race coming for you. A lot of those heavy hitters obviously starting at the front of the field. And just like with the Truck Series, no practice this weekend, again, for all 3 series. Qualifying took place yesterday evening at about the same time we're starting the race here today. And that 1 qualifying lap for everybody outside the top 10, and then in the top 10, the 2 qualifying laps for making it to round 2 were the only laps turned at Atlanta for the Xfinity Series this weekend. Race broadcast is on CW. Local affiliate for many of you watching at home. Carter Cathorn, thanks for tuning in, pulling for Sheldon Creed. He was up towards the front again for a large portion of last week's race, so we'll see what he can do here today. Cars are rolling off of pit road, and we will get this race started shortly. If Atlanta wasn't already growing into one of your favorite racetracks on the schedule, the truck race only further solidifies that. And I would imagine we'll see a lot of the same racing from the truck race from start to finish as what we'll have here in the Xfinity Series. Adam Alexander, Jamie McMurray, Parker Kligerman on the play-by-play, lap-by-lap call for today's race. Don't have the title sponsor on the top of the screen. It's got the track name, which I think that's covered by my scrolling stat screen on the top of the screen. Jojo, thanks for tuning in. Is there a possibility we could see Creed win I'm assuming you meant to say win an Xfinity race. I would imagine at some point. Surprised it didn't happen last season, but I think it's less likely this year just because the equipment that he's in isn't quite as good as what he was just driving. I do think that Haas is going to take a step backwards on the speed side of things once we get off of these drafting style tracks. So he's really got to take advantage of this. It's not the same SHR that we had in years past on the Xfinity or Cup level. I think they may be competitive, race here and there, but there's not going to be as many chances. And it's not like they won a lot of races the last couple of years either. Although Custer won a championship 2 years ago, I think he only won 3 races that entire season. One oval, which was Phoenix at the end of the year. And then last year, he only won a couple races. Herbst won 1 race. Again, those flatter style racetracks. I don't know if you can bank on that. You might have to get it done on a drafting track, and he's got several more to go. Even after today, we still got 2 trips to Talladega, 1 more to Daytona, 1 more to Atlanta. Again in the summer, there could be opportunities. Maybe on a road course, who knows? Boards have been good across the board for Cup, Xfinity, and trucks when it comes to the super speedway racing, but the 2-headed monster at the front of the field there, those RCR cars have had even more of a stranglehold over the field when it comes to the pack style race in the last couple of years. Jesse Love led all but about a dozen laps of this race a season ago, ran out of gas on an overtime finish late. Multiple overtimes late in the race is what ended up costing him. Ran out of gas on the restart. His teammate Austin Hill was able to pick up the victory. And again, I mentioned already, Hill has won 4 of the last 5 Xfinity Series races here at Atlanta. And he has actually won the last 2 races in the spring here. So trying to make it 3 in a row in this very race. NASCAR starting up there with him. Josh Williams, great qualifying effort for him. One of the best of his career, if not the best. Don't usually see him qualify particularly well, even on the super speedways, but looking good, calling equipment, which we know has won drafting tracks in the past. He's up towards the top 10 late last week. I don't remember if he actually got a top 10. I don't think he did in the Daytona opener. Jesse Love coming off of a win last week, and remember that Austin Hill dominated that race before he ended up having a mechanical failure at the beginning of stage 3, took him out of it. 1 to go signal this time by. Lights are out on the pace car. Jesse Love has elected the inside lane for the initial start as the pole sitter. Amazing that they shut the cars off on the warm-up laps. Yeah, they've been doing that for a long time, actually. I remember them doing that, pretty much around the time the Gen 6 debuted. Always trying to find a way to save gas. Everywhere they can. Every caution they're going to be doing that. Pace laps, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the race length is, how the stage splits are. Pretty much it was 2 pit stops that took us to the finish for the truck race. This race is going to be 42 miles in length longer. So the pace car is pulling its way to pit road right now. Field is exiting turn 4. And we'll get our second race of the day underway here at Atlanta. Love and Hill lead the field to the green, and we're underway for race 2 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series season. Austin Hill might have missed a shift or something at the start there. Stacked up the outside lane already. The front 2 cars are clear on the bottom. Jesse Love and the 11 of Josh Williams. Side draft there as they get up to speed through turns 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. Hill trying to get another push from behind from Justin Allgaier in the 7. Allgaier clear. The 11 tried to slide up, but he ended up in the middle 3 wide. Same with the 20. The 20 gets back down to the bottom while the 11 is still in the middle 3 wide as they exit turn 4. And now Allgaier split in the middle 3 wide as well as the Taylor Gray Toyota got to his outside off of turn 4. Allgaier already starting to go backwards as well. Josh Williams finds his way into the outside line eventually, about 8 to 9 cars back. A little contact down the back straightaway off of turn 2 with a couple cars in the bottom lane. That was actually Allgaier in the 7 who got sideswiped. Couldn't tell exactly who was underneath him. Looked like it might have been AJ, or sorry, not AJ Allmendinger. He's not driving the 16 anymore. He is in the Cup Series, just not in the Xfinity Series. Christian Eckes in the 16, I believe, was the car that hit him. Doesn't look like there's any tire rub. I don't see any smoke when they go into the corner, so that's good. Might have rubbed the Goodyear lettering off the sidewall. Well, now there's a little bit of smoke, but that's actually further back. It's not one of those 2 cars that made contact. At least that I had seen in the early laps. At the start-finish line this time by, Jesse Love gonna lead again. Still a little bit of 3 wide racing going on. William Sawalich finds himself in the middle of it. He's got a JGR teammate in the 19 of Almirola underneath him. Almirola's still trying to make passes back there in traffic. Just not going to get enough room from his teammate yet. No drafting help down on the bottom. Not much in that middle groove either. And now the 19 and 18 get nose to tail. Love has led the first 3 laps of the race as they exit turn 4 to end lap number 4. It's side by side for the lead, and Sam Mayer in the 41 will lead his first lap of the day. Love sliding across that front bumper of Austin Hill as they enter turns 1 and 2. Nose to nose for the lead again. Not a lot of cars on the bottom, but a couple of Fords down there working together. Oh, 27, Jeff Burton got sideways. My goodness. Off of turn 2. Looked like he saved it, but the caution lights are on. And that is because the 26 is up against the wall. Dean Thompson with a flat left rear tire. Already under yellow for the first time today. We didn't have a caution for incident in the truck race until stage 3. Flat left rear for Dean Thompson. 39 gets loose. So I guess the caution... Okay, I'm a little confused here. Caution lights looked like they were on. Maybe I was just seeing something. That might have been the caution indicator on our screen, which is a little bit ahead of the CW broadcast. They were not under caution. Apparently, they were still green after the tire went flat on Dean Thompson's race car. He was able to get to pit road after getting against the wall. And then the left front of Ryan Siegs went down. By the time he exited turn 2 that next lap, he got sideways. It looked like he was going to hit the wall nose first. Not the case. He was able to save it somehow. No damage on the 39 as he gets back to pit road. That's a tough break for him. He was inside line row 2. So time lost there for Ryan Sieg as he'll be at the back of the pack now. I guess the cause of the caution was Sieg. It's all over the map there. We are under caution. Reason for the yellow, though, is the 39, not the 26. 26 is still going to lose a lap because they were at pace for as long as they were. He definitely got against the wall with the flat left rear tire. There's some damage on the right side of his car. Thompson did have a top 10 at Daytona last week. So tough break here to start race number 2 in the early going, starting well behind. I would imagine because he wasn't the cause of the caution, though, he should get the free pass. As long as he doesn't lose another lap while he was on pit road there. At that point, I would try to rush him out of there, get the free pass, get back on the lead lap, and then come back down and make repairs if needed. Helvet, thanks for tuning in. He's hoping Austin Hill wins. How many laps to go? The race just started. We're only on lap 7 of 45 right now. Very, very early in this race. 7 of 45 in stage 1, 7 of 163 total. Jesse Love did get the lead back right before the caution came out. Mayer and Love were side by side for the lead off turn 2. Mayer got credited for leading that one lap. All the rest have been led by the pole sitter Love. 7 of them now as we work our way under caution. Austin Hill will be in third. I'd be shocked if the RCR cars don't try to line up nose to tail with one another for this next race start. Knowing that we were going to be able to make it to the end of stage 1 on fuel, I don't imagine we're going to see a lot of cars come to pit road. Back half of the field might end up coming down just to top off, but that'd be about it. Nobody at the front's going to end up hitting the pits this time. So we've seen 2 lead changes then. Out. Lap 8 under yellow. So once again, we will be live for the Cup race tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race. Go over who I think is going to run well, not run well. I'm going to do the trivia every week on the channel for those of you that watched our pre-race of the Daytona 500. Granted, we did 2 of them because we went live an hour early, but we'll only have time to do 1 trivia quiz every week. But there'll be a new addition to the pre-race show, highlight the Fantasy League, and then we'll get onward with that 400-mile race tomorrow afternoon, the And Better Health 400 at Atlanta. 8 minutes from the drop of the green flag to where we're at right now. Slow pace for the beginning with this early yellow. These guys were really going for it, though. We saw a lot of 3-wide racing in the early laps, just with drivers getting stuck in the middle, kind of involuntarily there. And what are those? Those seals? Got seals on the concourse outside of Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's back by the driver haulers where they sell merch. The heck? I don't remember that when I was in Atlanta a few years ago. Either time I was in Atlanta, actually. You have to let me know if you've ever been to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Maybe I missed that. The seal's up on stage. The heck is going on down there? The sea lions. All right, not the seals. Let me get that right. They're sea lions. Yeah, okay, so apparently Atlanta Motor Speedway put out a post on X that it is new. I was going to say, I definitely do not remember that from the 2 times I've been to Atlanta in the past. Especially being that close to the driver haulers, I feel like I would have seen that. Once again, we're under caution for the first time here today. A lot of time left in this race. 45 laps in stages 1 and 2, 73 in the final stage. Dean Thompson back in his pit box yet again. Scroll down to see if he ended up getting his lap back. He did not. He's actually 2 laps down now as they still make repairs. We saw some flat tires real early on a restart in the truck race as well, with the low air pressure. And they had a tendency to keep the race green as long as they could, so it's probably why it was still green when Thompson ended up having his issue. And then, of course, once they ended up having that spin from the 39 off turn 2, then the yellow came out. Speaking of doing trivia like we did at Daytona, yeah, same thing with the rain delay too. Obviously, we won't have as many quizzes, as we did during the rain delay. We had 4.5 hours to cover, so we had 4 of them. But I'll try to find a quick quiz every week for us to do during the pre-race. Just a little bit of something new. We did do it during the pre-race of the 500 as well. We just continued it through the rain delay. And I'll still do them during rain delays throughout the season as well, because I did that last year. And the year before, if I'm not mistaken, as well. All right, so top 5 for the restart. We got Jesse Love in the lead, Sam Mayer in second, Austin Hill third, Taylor Gray fourth, and Christian Eckes rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Should get back to racing here shortly. What happened to Sanchez? He just qualified deep in the field, I think. 48. Back at 35th. He probably came down to top off on fuel as well during the caution, with already being towards the back half of the field anyway. We'll be on lap 12 on the restart. Long ways to go. I was talking about it last week during the Daytona opener for the Xfinity Series, but I do really like the layout of the production side of things for CW Sports. I like the leaderboard that they have at the bottom of the screen, that you can fit 25 drivers at once. Doesn't seem like it takes too much away from the action that you're watching on TV. And I really like the broadcast booth too. Jamie McMurray, Parker Klickerman had great chemistry with each other when we were listening to them last week. Haven't listened to them yet today. We will at certain points throughout the race. As for right now, Jesse Love will be on the outside of row 1 for the restart. Green flag back in the air. And his teammate Austin Hill did not take the outside behind him. Surprisingly takes the inside of row number 1. So we'll see how this is going to work out for the 2 RCR Chevrolets at the front of the field. Hill's got his nose out in front of the field this time. And actually, Hill was in third on the restart, so that's probably why he took the inside of row number 1. And he had the better push between the two. Pulls in front of his teammate and leads down the back straightaway. Big wiggle by the 16 of Christian Eckes. He was getting pushed down the back straightaway by Sammy Smith. Got real loose. And now there's a tire rub on the left rear of the 2 of Jesse Love. I saw some smoke right in the middle of the corner as they were getting towards the exit of turn 4. I don't think my eyes are deceiving me there either. Drive off into turns 1 and 2. I have to see if that's still the case. Definitely gonna have to make sure he doesn't have a left rear tire going flat. That could take him out of it. We saw a couple drivers lose multiple laps early in the truck race because of that, and they never came back on the lead lap. Air pressure still could be a little bit low, considering we've only had a handful of green flag laps, but even still, you'd think after 5 or 6 green flag laps that they'd build up enough. Unless they started way too low on the air pressure. Hill and Love lead the field yet again. The first 2 laps led of the race for Austin Hill were the first 2 green flag laps following the restart. Despite being in third when the caution came out, got the better jump on the bottom, better push, slid in front of his teammates, and now they can work together at the front of the pack. 2 Chevys, a Ford, Toyota, Chevy, top 5 on the manufacturer race. Lap 15 at the line.
It's playing quite as strong this time. The 16, the Rookie of the Year contender, Christian Eckes, right behind him in the net. Steven Smith, second year for him over at first race. The rookies making a splash up front. I talked about Eckes. Right outside lane, you got Taylor Gray, the Blanco, number 54. Carson Waffles up there in the number 1. The 88 is Tom Simmons. The rookies making a splash up front here at Glen.
Yeah, and Taylor Gray is one that I've got my eye on. He finished fifth last week at Daytona, and I felt like he was just quiet all race long. Not lead punching laps, not doing it crazy. And I think when you're a rookie and you come to this type of track, the funny thing is a win for the class. We're not talking about you too much. Trying to really get tonight. What I see out of many of them is they've all watched race tape and taken their notes. They've all dogged the template and stopped it to lose. But if I look down below, it's more veteran racers like Justin Allgaier, the 3rd car in the bottom lane. You've got Jeff Burton down there trying to make that bottom lane work, but it's just fading. It doesn't have the momentum right now. And so those cars down there, they're basically just looking for an entry point to the top lane. It's going to be tough to make happen. You literally at some point got to make a hole, Jamie, as you know, basically forcing yourself up there, which can have immense risk.
Austin Hill has led 5 laps today in a very comfortable position here at his home racetrack, Bill.
And you guys spoke about the importance of being up front and controlling this race. It was interesting last week. Austin wasn't quite as aggressive as we're used to seeing him at these type of racetracks. Still seemed was in control, but maybe a little more pulled back to the reins. Talked with Chad Haney, the crew chief. He said, don't expect that this week. He needs to be more aggressive. He's going to be more aggressive than he was last week. But they also know they need to finish. They didn't have a great week last week with the DNF. Could have been worse, but they need points, but they want to win too. So balancing that's going to be the key for the 21.
Let's let every race here in this rapid configuration. Top 5. Boston. Sam Miller, Taylor Gray, Carson Walk.
Lap 19 is across the start-finish line with Hill in the lead. We'll go through the full field running order here on lap 20 of 45 in stage 1. Hill out in front. His teammate Jesse Love still in second. Sam Mayer third. Taylor Gray fourth. And Carson Quapple rounds out the top 5 in 5th. Connor Zilic is 6th, Harrison Burton 7th, Sheldon Creed 8th, Josh Williams 9th, and Jeb Burton in 10th. 11th is Justin Allgaier, Parker Retzlaff 12th, Christian Eck is 13th, Anthony Alfredo 14th, 15th place is Sammy Smith. Daniel Dye in 16th, William Sawallick 17th, Jeremy Clements 18th, Eric Almirola 19th, and Leland Honeyman in 20th. CJ McLaughlin 21st, 22nd for Josh Balicki, Brennan Poole 23rd, Ryan Sieg 24th, Blaine Perkins 25th, Ryan Ellis 26th, Brandon Jones 27th, Nick Sanchez 28th, 29th for Chris Wright, and Matt DiBenedetto is 30th. Garrett Smithley 31st, 32nd for Joey Gase, Mason Maggio 33rd, Nick Lights 34th, Mason Massey 35th, Carson Ware 36th, Dean Thompson 37th, 7 laps down after he had gotten against the wall before the caution came out. Kyle Sieg pulled off the racetrack during that yellow, and he is 8 laps down and off track as of right now in 38th, rounding out the field. 36 cars still on the lead lap. That one caution back on lap 6 is the only one. 3 lead changes and just over 17 minutes from the start of the race to where we're at right now. Again, lap 23. About halfway through stage 1, you're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Atlanta. AV Sports, thanks for tuning in. All I can get on CW is the battle cam. They don't have like the actual live broadcast for your end. I've definitely heard some gripes on the comment section side of things with CW broadcasting last week, end of last year as well, when they had the playoff races for the Xfinity Series. Bond 1771, Dale Campbell, FAHQ2, Frank Powers, welcome to the stream also. Just over 50 people in the chat. Our goal is 50 likes for the stream, just as we had for the truck series. We did get our goal in the truck race, already halfway to our goal for the Xfinity race in stage 1. Take a look at the chat poll for the first time in this race. 36 votes have already been casted for who you think is going to win here this afternoon. Justin Allgaier leading the poll at 33%, despite being just outside the top 5. And the 2 RCR cars, 22% for Jesse Love, 17% saying Austin Hill, 28% saying other. So fairly tight poll early on. Again, 36 votes up to this point, and that poll will stay open until the end of stage 2, which would be lap 90 in the second half of the race.
It's been too long. Sort of like you have to explore fire environment that works so always filled with extraordinary business and share that you can compete as a deceitful space. Over halfway home, it's NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. In charge of the field with that.
One of the things you see Jesse Love doing behind him is peaking a little bit lower, getting some cleaner air. That's just something to do here to try to keep the car turning. You notice that they're not even fully up next to the wall. That will happen as this race goes on. They'll actually move that groove higher and higher towards the center of the corners. The way this place is shaped, it's just awkward. You enter lower, you slide up and sort of move almost into a diamond fashion towards the top. right now they're trying using that middle lane. There's a lot of rubber from the truck race, and I expect that lane to start to move up. And Jesse's just trying to get his air to the front. And also, you have the market same with the spin and the culture over there. One thing I want to point out here, so he's back down in 20th now, and got took position throughout today, with not just because of the line of the track, but when you get transition, unlike Daytona or Talladega, yes, this is speedway or drafting style racing, you can get separated from the field, but that's where he is right now, back 20, way behind this main 10 or 15 cars.
He did make a pit stop, got 4 tires, so we'll see if that impacts their plan, but maybe get some kind of track position back. We'll cycle the stops later on.
He's just an all guy right there on the outside of the 00 of Sheldon Creed. Justin did a really good job in the summer race here, but being able to get to the guys outside. Parker reference, you kind of peeking that left front fender out. That's the most comfortable position to be in if you're the car behind. I think you're going to lose when you get to the outside. If you can get the balance right, being able to get to the outside, that's the preferred position to be in.
Sheldon Creed has been quiet in the 00, looking down to the inside of Josh Williams and Anthony Alfredo. And that red, black, and white number 42 making his way in the outside full position.
Oh, man.
They're in the top 5. That low lane, licked it back, sliding into the lane. He is 12th right now, dropping from golf.
Yeah, Sheldon's trying to side draft Christian a little bit in the entry. Christian's trying to move up to get in front of Sheldon. They almost collected each other. It's unbelievable. We saw Sheldon be on the inside, lose that little bit of momentum, and it's taken him like 2 laps to come from that. You see, Christian sneaks to the inside of him right here, getting into turn 1. Yes, and it's everything. Christian learning exactly how to use the momentum and the shortcut of going low on the racetrack to basically clear yourself and finally hopping in the corner. That was a bit late. You want to do that a little sooner in the second portion of the dog leg through the trial. So that's just something he's going to note and go, okay, I wasn't quite clear. I was almost there. Probably have to have a little bit more momentum next time to really finish. Christian might not even know that happened. It's from inside. It depends on your spotter. We'll probably saw that and had the same reaction that we did, and he'll tell him, hey, we're going to get close to your right there on those passes.
Austin Hill leading here. 15 to go in the stage. And it's interesting to point out, he won his first 2 races here up to the middle, and then 170 laps. He got the season sweep last year. He led only 14 circuits. So today, he said,
Well, it didn't take long for them to cut to the next commercial break here. 132 laps to go in the race. Still early in stage number 1, just about a dozen laps to go. Austin Hill leads the way still. Jesse Love in 2nd, Sam Mayer 3rd, Taylor Gray 4th, Carson Kvapil in 5th, Connor Zilich is in 6th place. 7th place is Justin Allgaier, Harrison Burton 8th, Parker Retzlaff 9th, and Josh Williams rounds out the top 10, all within 1 second of the race lead. In fact, it's a 1.2 second difference between 1st and 10th on the leaderboard. Austin Hill has eclipsed the most laps led up to this point in the race, 23, 10 for his teammate Jesse Love. 1 lap led for Sam Mayer before the first caution came out. Those are the only 3 drivers to lead at least 1 lap in the race, and they're all running inside the top 3 still. Mostly single file pretty much this entire green flag run since the restart right around lap 13. Just over 20 laps into this green flag run as of this moment, and we are down to exactly 12 laps to go, 11 to go now in stage number 1. And I'm sure most of you already know, but again, stage points are awarded to the top 10 positions. 1 point per position, 10 for first, all the way down to 1 point for 10th, and a playoff point for the stage winner as well. RCR swept the stages and won the race last weekend. Hill won stage 1 and stage 2, and it was Jesse Love who ended up winning the race. Austin Hill trying to pick up where he left off and get another playoff point added to the early season total. Kind of managing that gap. I would imagine Jesse Love is not going to pull out of line and make the move on him unless he has a run coming to the checker off turn 4. Try to secure that these two are going to be 1st and 2nd, so that way when they begin stage 2, assuming they have clean pit stops during the stage break, they'll be able to cycle out in front then as well. Trying to see who's all in the single file line on the outside. Not sure exactly how many cars are in this lead pack. Looks like 13, because there's about an 0.8 of a second split between Sheldon Creed in 13th and Jeb Burton in 14th. So 13 cars are in the lead draft as of right now. And Jeb Burton's got several cars behind him. 3 of them. Definitely doesn't seem like they're going to be able to close that gap much unless he can get a big push from behind. Basically the same thing we saw, though, in the first stage of the truck race as well. And then the last 2 or 3 laps of the stage, all heck broke loose. And a lot of side-by-side, even 3 wide on the final lap for the lead off of the front stretch. First stage is clicking by fast laps. Obviously, you can complete more laps in a quicker amount of time on a drafting track at Atlanta, 1.5 miles versus 2.5 miles at Daytona, 2.66 mile track at Talladega. So when you get down into the closing laps, especially late in a stage, late in the race like this, your single file, you got to start thinking of making moves maybe a little earlier than 2 to 3 to go, like you would do at Daytona or Talladega if you're running back half of the top 10 and still want a shot to win the stage, because it's just going to be longer to try to get to the front of the field by way of lap count. 48 of Parker, or not Parker Kligerman, he's in the booth. The 48 of Nick Sanchez definitely has a hole in the nose of his race car. They've showed that a couple times over the broadcast. And he had gotten into the back of somebody in the midst of the checkup after Jeb Burton nearly spun off the front bumper of another car a lap and a half or so before the caution ended up coming out back on lap 6. So after hitting somebody in the checkup there, definitely going to have to try to do their best to put some bare bond and tape the nose of that car off, especially where the hood is exposed. Getting a lot of airflow into the engine intake. 26 and Dean Thompson just went another lap down at the front of the field as he's nursing his car down to the bottom of the track and is unable to keep up with the lead pack, at least since the restart. So they're still going to have to make some damage repair to his car to try to make it a bit better. Thompson is actually in last right now, 14 laps down. Kyle Sieg is 8 laps down, pulled off the track for a brief moment during the stage break, or during the caution, early on, but he is back out there on the track and he's actually taken over 37th from Thompson, about 6 laps ahead of him. So Dean Thompson definitely taking out of a shot to win here in the early laps, being that many laps down, but he can continue onward. And we still have several other cars that have actually fallen off the lead lap as well. Another one just got lapped off of turn 4 that last time by. That was Mason Maggio. Carson Ware's also off of the lead lap. Quite a few drivers in a pack, well off the lead, 20 seconds back. I'm not sure if the leaders will get to him or not. We shall see. Only a few laps to go. 3 laps left, in fact, this time by at the line in stage number 1. Nobody's pulled out a line to try to make a move inside the top 10 yet. Making it easy for Austin Hill and Jesse Love, but still got to check that rearview mirror to see if a run would be coming. And for Love, trying to manage the gap to the car in front of him who leads the pack as well. Mostly in the middle groove through the center of the corner. Carrying enough speed that he's not in danger of getting slipped to the outside of. Christian Eckes pulls out of the outside line. He's going to try to make a move. Right around 9th or 10th place as he's on the inside of the 4. Nobody goes with him, and he's so far back, nobody's going to pull down in front of him either to try to get the run. As we are down to a lap and a half left here in stage 1 down the back straightaway. About 2 more miles to the end of the first stage. Sam Mayer looking low for a moment in the center of 3 and 4. Pokes back into the outside. 54 gets a run behind him. Going to give him a push on the front stretch. Final lap of the stage now. And a big closing rate for Sam Mayer into turn 1. Looks to the inside for second on Jesse Love. Hill goes to the bottom of the track. And that will allow the 41 to pick him up in the draft, but not quite clear of the 2 on the outside. Love getting a run down the backstretch. Thought he was going to at least. Pretty good side draft by Sam Mayer, all things considered there. And might have a chance to clear Love off turn 4. And he doesn't slam the door shut. Austin Hill easily going to hold on and win this first stage at the line. Love, I believe, by inches, got second still, holding off Mayer, who tried to make that charge on the final lap, and it was left a little to be desired. But he didn't lose any position, so that's good too. It was worth the effort. He didn't get any help from behind in the draft. And there was enough side drafting going on between the 41 and the 2, and they got side by side for second. Nobody was able to get a run after Austin Hill. So Hill, who won both stages, stage 1 and stage 2 last weekend, but did not win the race, is going to win his third stage in the early going of the season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, as he wins stage 1 here today at Atlanta. Jesse Love second, Sam Mayer third, Taylor Gray fourth, and Carson Kvapil rounds out the top 5. Connor Zilic in 6th, Justin Allgaier 7th, Christian Eckes 8th, Harrison Burton 9th, and Sheldon Creed rounds out the top 10. All of those 10 are Xfinity Series regulars and will be receiving their stage points. There are actually no Cup regulars in this field for the Xfinity Series here today. Former Cup regular, obviously, Eric Almirola, but no longer in the Cup Series, running a part-time schedule for JGR yet again on the Xfinity side of things. In the number 19, and we saw him run several races in the number 20 last year. Actually won a couple of times. Nobody in the field has changed tires, especially those up towards the front, so we'll definitely see them hit pit road for the first time during the stage end. And while we await the pit stops, you're listening live on KRC. We'll take a quick break. Come right back. Second race of the season for the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Atlanta. Oh, nope. They're going to be coming back from the break. They had the CW logo on my screen there for a quick second, and I thought it was the end of one CW commercial to lead into the broadcast. Not quite it. But again, we should be getting some pit stops very soon. First pack is doing well. Yeah, just single file, keeping it smooth early. Regine Huddleston, welcome to the stream. Billy Kramer, welcome as well. Got 33 likes up to this point on our goal of 50. I'd imagine pit road's already open this time. Yep.
Today's the first point. The series. And what the first people are, leading 76 laps. It's the opening stint of the break. They hit that pit lane. Let's go to Progressive Pit Road. Kids, lead us off.
Yeah, Jesse Love will bring that red and white 2 machine down pit road. He said he's happy to lift a little more than he once can. A little wide and open, a little free, a little snug, depending on where on the track he is, but definitely more on the free side. The plan is to make a chassis adjustment. They'll do around and half the left rear as well as Ting. You see him top of your screen. The crew is going to work. It also comes the one. Looks like inside Emergency Love. Dylan. Inside underneath. First team. It's still in 1 minute. Don't want to go shoot. They'll make an adjustment, but same thing. For the screen chassis adjustment, they'll go around and change 4 tires. This is their plan, and they stick to it. They don't cost them a little track position here. They'll aim to gain that back with a shorter stop at the end of stage.
Austin Hill.
So a couple of 2-tire stops there for Austin Hill. Jesse Love. Sammy Smith gains 11 positions on pit road, the 2-tire stop as well. And it looks like everybody else behind them taking 4. So we'll see how that fares with the older left side tires for the top 3 in the restart. In particular, the RCR Chevys, who have dominated the race from the front row to begin things off here this afternoon. This race will end in the nighttime skies as well. So kind of starting in the later dusk daylight hours, we'll finish in the night just as we had for the spring race last season for the Xfinity Series. Might see that for Cup again tomorrow as well, depending on how long that race lasts, especially in the spring event. I think they had double-digit cautions. 8 of them in the Daytona 500. Might have even been 7, but I think that last one they had come into the line after the checkered flag had already fallen. They might have gotten a yellow for that as well. So 16 positions gained for Sammy Smith since the start of the race, with getting 11 spots on pit road with the right side tire only call, so going for that track position. The other big movers up 14 spots apiece for Creed, Eckes, and Zilich since the start of the race. Joey Gase has lost 18 positions, because he's back to 21st. I don't think that that's accurate. Yeah, that one's not accurate, because he definitely didn't qualify third. Nick Sanchez does keep his car on the lead lap as the team continues to make repairs to the 48. Free pass went to Mason Maggio as he's back on the lead lap. Carson Ware still 1 lap down. Kyle Sieg 8 laps down. Dean Thompson 15 laps down. All 38 cars still on the racetrack, but only 35 on the lead lap to begin stage 2. We'll have a little less than 40 laps to go in the second stage when we get back to racing. A little over a half hour into this one. 5 lead changes. 2 cautions. 1 caution for incident back on lap 6 with the 39 of Ryan Sieg. No major damage to the car, but had a flat left front. Lost control off turn 2. No contact with anybody or anything. Kept it off the wall. Kept it rolling. And kept the car on the lead lap, too. Which is not easy with this very long pit road here at Atlanta. You have to make an abrupt pit stop like that. Welcome everybody into the stream. Those of you who might have been watching the Truck Series race on the channel earlier, appreciate you tuning back in for the Xfinity race tonight. Maybe even Cup qualifying late morning into the early afternoon as well. Main event tomorrow afternoon for the NASCAR Cup Series. Again, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, we will go live for that race. AJ Summers, welcome back. Whoa, hey, is this NASCAR? Yes, it is. It is NASCAR.
Out there doing their thing on the big stage. 70 cars here this weekend, and most of the family staying throughout the weekend to watch the NASCAR festivities.
I have watched a lot of those kids over the last year or so with my son racing, and man, it's really fun to see all those little kids and families out.
Jamie tried to get in one, but he couldn't quite fit. He tried to get I'm the only one that can fit.
Great to buy the tires, you know. Let's take a look at spot. Let's take a look at Sammy Smith's Race Fit Health Report brought to you by Brad Street. What each of these big, in fairness, when he was young, when he was a wrestler, he played. And like, you know, the last 2 weeks of look guy, Bennett and Sammy Smith agree. All guys I grew up racing with, it was like 5'5". Like, I mean, well, we spent some time there. He was working out Ross Chastain. This is Josh Watt's program. But you don't think about Sammy Smith against me. Every year I see him, he's even more muscular, more built out. Like, this guy looks like he'd be going to be starting Mitchell Yankees, maybe the next lineman or something. But maybe for the Panthers.
I always wondered what that was like.
65. I'm sure not that short.
So typical. He's an out race car driver. That's a specimen. I mean, is the word. Yeah.
You mentioned Justin.
Yeah. He's not 5'5", Jeff. I was kidding.
The payoff, first ever Xfinity race here in Atlanta. Jeff Gordon wins 1992, driving the Baby Ruth car. So there you go. We got the Hall of Famer into the race. Kim, what's up?
Yeah, we have RCR 1-2, Austin Hill leading, Jesse Love in that second position. Here's what crew chief Danny Stockman told him in terms of thinking about how to overtake his teammate.
21, so you're going to have Hill come out. Yeah, of course.
So some good dialogue there from the two team. And remember, they had that win last week. They told me that completely changes their mindset on the top of the box and in terms of Jesse being able to work on his racecraft and have a little freedom there to take some chances.
Okay, if I'm being honest, I never really wanted driving advice from my crew chief, and I'm not putting anybody down, but I'm like, I'm the driver. I want some help. I want my spotter and somebody what he's seeing, but I don't necessarily know that I want my crew chief giving my help. But as we talked about last week, you got to build a notebook at the end of these stages. I liked what Austin Hill did. He liked thinking. He got those guys side by side. If I'm Jesse Love, though, I want to get control of the race, as you mentioned earlier. I'm not going to wait till the last lap. I want to get in front of him and make him pass me.
Let's check in with Garrett Smith and the Cal Fire Benevolent Foundation on their team. We saw there just a second ago. Did a lot of racing here as a youngster from Pennsylvania came down Atlanta Speedway race in his younger days. We do the choose. Austin Hill, who's outside teammate, goes with him. Sam Mayer said, I'll take
Haas factory team saying, you know what, let's just see if we can make something happen here. Those two fast fours that are at Daytona. Trishnek, who has been trying to make the bottom work the entirety of the first stage, still unsuccessfully, and he's going to try again here as we start stage 2. I like his determination to go to the bottom and try to make it happen.
the outside lane, all taking 2 tires on that cycle of stops led by Austin Hill, Dylan.
Well, real quick as we come back to green, want to talk about the weather and the temperatures this weekend. This was the 21 radio a moment ago.
I think I should put my long johns on. Rookie boots.
I can't tell if that's Chad Haney or Derek Neal in the spotter who is way on top. It's been confident today than yesterday, but as the sun starts to set, it is going to get cold here in Atlanta.
I'm going to guess, just using common sense, it was Derek Neal on the spot. I mean, when we came to the TV booth, I'm like, this is more than I need, and then I came inside. I can't imagine going up another level of standing in the elements.
It's windy up there, too.
Oh,
Freezing. Cuts right through you.
here we go. Stage 2 teammates in that outside lane. Ford's trying to put it together now. One.
Jesse Love got walked into the back of Austin Hill. They've got the tournament squirrely. That those Haas factory team cars to sort of get side by side, even jump a little bit of the 21 here, but that top side is going to have the momentum down the back stretch, as we've seen. Sheldon Creed's not able to stay right on the back bumper. That's Sam Mayer as they enter turn 3. You see Jesse Love sneaking out, Parker, trying to get just a little bit of air on the nose. Both of those RCR cars just put left side tires on. Typically, when you just do left side tires, Jesse Love saying the hood was already loose. So you need to have a little bit of that clean air will help calm down. Hopefully, tighten it up just a little bit. We saw Jackson on the first stage sort of peeking out below the 21 in the middle of the corner. He was trying to get that car just to get some in, put some downforce on it, which means that sometimes he was a little tight, sometimes he was just trying to help it out to the bottom lane. Fading here, it just doesn't quite have the ability to keep going the momentum needs. Yeah, and on Jesse Love, I try to make my pass right now. And the reason being is that you might have a gap coming in because there's still some cars on the bottom. As this gets single filed out, it gets that long trade. It's hard to make that pass. But if it doesn't, you're going to fall all the way to the back line. Adam, I think that's a little risky right now. I don't see it. I can see the top line forward so quickly. If you took that chance, you're going to the back. You're trying to go there.
State water heaters on board camera. Right with the 27 of Jeb Burton. Stage points last week at Daytona. Finished just outside the top 15. He's running 16th today.
Yeah, look at the sun in Jeff's eyes right there. Heading into turn 1, it is really bright. You're blind for just a second. That's actually going to get worse if the clouds don't come to take that over. We saw Garrett Smith actually had sunglasses on, and then Alina Austin Hill. He actually has a darn tear one trying to back up. Turn 2 that now.
The rest of the car, is Brandon Jones from right here in Atlanta. Back at Joe Gibbs Racing in 2025. All 5. Rhythm and Common. Driving for JGR.
There's a couple of Joe Gibbs Racing cars back here. Make moves to go forward, and that's what's frustrating. It really becomes top line dominant like this. And you even have teammates like they have, just trying to make something. it's just you get the sense you get almost demoralized on the bottom because you're trying to make it work, you're trying to make moves, and it's just falling away. And now they have to slot in and think, okay, now we have to come up with a plan to try and move forward in some form or fashion. But until this front couple of get side by side and start moving and come, that's gonna be a really tall task. Yeah, and there's really only one of the jump like recent that is quick today. It's Taylor Gray. He's fourth in line. I think for he's been able to keep his track positions. Not a great job, but not the other kids to do very well. I think Eric Almirola to win the race today. He's as good as the other one. Yeah, as good at this kind of racing as anyone. But he just has not, so far, has not been able to make anything happen.
Well, it's been the biggest difference for all of these guys. Track position. I had to qualify and take steps, track position. Everything. Take praise. Did a great job. Qualified up front. It was just not in that outside lane. Very similar to what we saw him do last week down at Daytona International Speedway. But other end of the spectrum, Brandon Jones. What has been back there, and Eric Almirola didn't qualify great. And there's the Toyota driver update. They are struggling. And I would say the biggest surprise is here, as you talk about it, Jamie. I mean, Eric Almirola has been great in the practice timer that night. Talking to the old car, Joe Gibbs Racing. We just expect a little more. I would say, though, this is a drafting track. Crazy things can happen, and it's still very early.
And that was kind of you say those cars maybe weren't fast. We don't know. They've been stuck in this top line. The line has been dumping both. And I do think that sticks out to me is you have a large amount of cars that took 4 tires, and unless we see some massive change here over the next 20 or 30 laps, the move by the RCR cars to take just 2 will be the move many of these teams try to employ at the end of the second stage, because it's obvious this race has become a track position race. Unless we start to see another group come along.
Under green, closing on the midway point of stage 2. Austin Hill is out front here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. What's up?
Back to another single file line up towards the middle to outer groove of the racetrack. They went to a side-by-side commercial break on CW on my end, but they have the ad on both of the sides. I don't think that was intentional. I'm going to assume that it wasn't supposed to be a full-screen commercial break, but they turned it into one, I should say. Middle of that break. Austin Hill's the race leader as of right now. Jesse Love in second. Sammy Smith is third. Connor Zilic fourth. Christian Eckes rounds out the top 5 in fifth. Sam Mayer in sixth. Take a look here. 7th place, Sheldon Creed. Carson Quapple, 8th. Josh Williams, 9th. Justin Allgaier is 10th. Ryan Sieg, 11th. Jeb Burton, 12th. Parker Retzlaff, 13th. 14th is Anthony Alfredo. William Sawalich in 15th. Taylor Gray, 16th. 17th, Brandon Jones. Eric Almirola, 18th. Harrison Burton, 19th. And 20th is Brennan Poole. Daniel Dye, 21st. Matt DiBenedetto, 22nd. Nick Sanchez, 23rd. Josh Bilicki, 24th. Mason Massey, 25th, 26th for Blaine Perkins. Jeremy Clements, 27th, 28th, Ryan Ellis. Garrett Smithley, 29th, and Joey Gase, 30th. 31st, Leland Honeyman. Make that now 31st, Garrett Smithley. Nick Lights, 32nd. Leland Honeyman, 33rd. Leaderboard just updated as they ended another lap. Chris Wright, 34th. Mason Maggio, 35th. Carson Ware, 36th. Kyle Sieg, 37th, and 38th is Dean Thompson. Everybody's still in the race. Still 35 cars on the lead lap. Carson Ware is now 2 laps down. Actually, it might be 1 lap down still. I think the raw fee is just like it was on the old one, where if they're more than a lap down, or if they are at least 1 lap down, it'll score them as another lap down if they're more than half a track off the lead. So I do believe Ware's 1 lap down still, which he was at the end of the last stage. But then you got Kyle Sieg, who would be 8 laps down still. Dean Thompson, 15 laps down still. Positions gained or lost since the race start, not a lot. Most positions gained, 7 for Jeb Burton. Had that big slide in the early laps. 11 spots for Nick Sanchez further back in the field, but he still scored in 23rd. 9 positions lost for Garrett Smithley. It's the most lost for him. Taylor Gray lost 11 spots on the initial start. Brandon Jones lost 8. So those are some of the biggest movers front and back of the pack for the early going of Stage 2. Up to 36 likes. Be sure to hit the like button on the stream. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Listening live on KRC to the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250 at Atlanta. Nope. I keep mistiming when they're coming back from commercial break. Sounds like I've got company over. I think my grandpa's here.
48 laps to go. Stage 2, today's aerial coverage. Brought to you by the Lucas Oil Helicopter. New man top 3 stayed the same. Phil Love, Sammy Smith. Connor Sitlich now in the 88th. Christian Eck is having a good day, riding in 5th. That's 16.
Fred's that Eggins around that close to Connor Village. And how all the drivers are saying that he gets that higher exposure, especially if you get to the right side of the car in front of you. But as I watch Jesse Hill, Austin Hill, Sammy Smith, they're starting to kind of run a little bit lower, like it's to get some good air. And if you do that too much, that car in 4th, Connor Zilich, is going to sneak to your outside. We already have seen him do it one time.
Right, Jamie. That's the thing. As you see him start to inch up the racetrack, that groove is going to move up. Look at him entering higher. And we saw this earlier on Taylor Gray. So take a look at that white 88 car. He's behind the yellow and black cars that go into turn 1. And Taylor Gray's going to go the middle. He's going to get to the outside, and now Taylor Gray is taking a hard push to the back because you don't have the help. He's going to use the momentum and go up to being there in the top 4, and that is the way you pass. When you're stuck in a line, you have 2 options: to the bottom and try to island up, or get clear outside. Let's take a listen to what Taylor Gray thought about that.
Like gap out there and they rounded it, or you're going to get out there and keep it covered. And then the thing like when he hit that little bit of the middle, when he hit it behind me.
And that's a technical thing, but it's exactly what AJ Allmeyer did here to basically lose a chance at winning this race last year. If you let someone get to your outside, to that right rear, you are dead in the water when it's an outside line like that. And that's really amazing position. But one thing you'll see from the RCR cars, they will start to move that grip, that groove up, and be closer and closer to the wall in the middle so you protect from that happening.
Yeah, I'll give you the bottom. I'm not going to be the outside if I can. From that. And once you're the car behind, if you can break the plane, if your front bumper breaks the plane and that kind of something over there, you start dragging them back, and it's can't hold them all.
And look at this. Talk about
I like it.
him up front, and you need it, right? You got to make a move, and here he goes. Out of line. Jesse Love down low, slides up in front of Austin Hill.
I'm not more of a Austin Hill right here looking at the back. Jesse Love makes that look easy. Austin Hill doesn't defend that right there. Later in the race, you're obviously going to defend that. But I like getting the control of the race because I want to ride like this, and then I want to make Austin Hill trying to figure out how to play this game. But I also wonder, is this Austin Hill? Does he want to be in 2nd place now? At the end of the stage, and we can figure out, can I make the pass? Can I make the right decision? No, if you know Austin Hill, he wants me first. That's right. But I would say, we just talked about how Connor Zoach made that Austin pass the outside the other way. That's exactly what you saw Jesse Love do. Austin Hill is going to try it here. He's going to side draft. Now he's going to shortcut to the bottom. Can he? I think he's got it.
Yeah, Jesse's going to let him in.
That's the other way to pass right there. Textbook. Austin Hill wanted to be the leader. That's your answer, Jamie. Teammates dancing together at the front. Austin Hill, Jesse Love.
Now Jesse Love's got to reset. He's like, all right, they'll let me leave. What do I need to leave? How do I generate them? He was able to generate on game. I want to go back, pass him immediately. The risk, though, and we've talked about this throughout the race, is you just see that train of cars behind. If you're not able to make that pass and they go all the way to the back, and I would tell you, if I was to help, I would want Jesse to make that move to try to get him shoved on the back so I don't have to deal with him. Because we know the 2 best cars in this race are the 2 leading right now. I thought those upset. You're being teammate. Well, I just want to win.
Hey, let's go back to the 2 other conferences. It's race. It's that was Eric Almirola was back there, Brandon Jones. And we said Tanner Crazy with the wins, spin able to maintain the track position. Kick out of the line. And then Crazy in 17. That's as bad as he's been in the season long when you look at the team races.
But it just seems like Joe Gibbs Racing has missed it this weekend. When we talk about how good these RCR cars are here, Joe Gibbs Racing, just all those cars are running in a pack right now, and it's not when they even expect those cars to win every single week. All those guys, 15, 16, 17, it's not a good day for Joe Gibbs Racing.
I just get a sense that maybe they focused on hitting more than speed. I'm dealing with more.
Well, it's interesting in the poll earlier today, Richie Jason Van Flip and Taylor made a discussion about that exact same thing that happened. Jason was warning Taylor, don't be the first one to kind of run above that second hash up against the fence, and Taylor thought we'd have to be up there just to protect that lead. So exactly what happened didn't happen. Obviously it did. He would have just put through in this room. And one thing Jason Radcliffe did say too, Taylor did a good job of being too for the race when they lost track position. Ultimately, it's all going to come down to the final stop, and you can gain that back. So cooler heads will prevail here. Race still out of it.
Yeah, great information there, Dylan. I told you kids, don't let that crew chief drive the car. Let him crew chief and you drive.
Look at Allgaier trying to make the inside lane work. That machine, 53's Mason Maggio got the free pass at the end of stage one to get back on the lap, and he's followed a lap in the rears again. Laps to go to stage two. And we talked last week at Daytona about how those two teammates from RCR kind of passed the baton. Austin Hill, Dolan, and Erda, leading 56 laps, I think it was, and won both stages, had the mechanical issues. Jesse Love is able to pick up the pieces and win the pace for the last 30, and boy, they've been dominant here today, leading the first 75 laps of this, or 75 of the first 77 laps of this group.
I just wonder if Justin can call about or get a little bit impatient right here, knowing that as we got down to the end of the stage, nobody was able to make something happen. He's like, look, I'm going to go down there and try to get this number. They're shooting up the country. Maybe I can get some other guys to pull down. He'd like to have his teammate right there, the orange yellow part, Matt's orange up scar, Carson Flopple. He can get him to pull down, get multiple fingers in that line and generate some speed. But it just seems to me that as we watch those cars, way a little bit if they want.
It's unbelievable. But that, the command they have on this field is just unprecedented. Go back to just walk out. I have to wonder if maybe there's checkups when you're in good line and pull up top. It's not just riding around up there, by the way. For all of you watching at home thinking this is maybe mundane inside the race car, it's just easy. There's nothing about it. There's constant variations of speed, checkups. You're trying to protect the outside, see what's happening on the inside. There's a lot going on, and sometimes you can get chucked out of the draft. As Justin's found a friend here.
Oh, yeah, we got three of them been lying down on the bottom. You see Nick Sanchez pulled up behind, and that's what you want. You want to get a couple of guys impatient. And all of you get down there. If you can get 5 or 6 down, if they start to see a little momentum, those guys in front will come down as well and get that line going.
The Chevys from Junior Motorsports have been solid today. A lot of time in the top 10. Let's get an update on the one of Carson Flopple, Carla.
And of course, Carson Flopple has a resume that would impress anyone. But each last season, he said he kind of doubted himself going in, asking himself, am I actually going to be good enough? He said we were able to perform, finishing with top 10s and 9 starts. So that helped with his confidence. You had last week's finish at Daytona, the top 4 finish. And then obviously he's in 10th right now.
Oh, it's getting good now. But it's getting so good. We see guys know that we need to get double file if we're going to beat these two cars. The two teammates from Cost Factory on the bottom, the green 41, the 00, the pink Sultan Creed, Sam Mayer. Like, we're not waiting to the end. We're going to try to get something to go.
Look, you said that 19, Eric Almirola, the veteran, just laying in the weeds, but it's time to put the green and white checkered flag. 6 laps away the end of stage 2, and that Toyota's surfacing it.
Bama just lived here. And I don't know quite what happened other than just you had basically Allgaier and Allrolla came in Canada, the Cost Factory team sold out. They went to the bottom and allowed them to get behind them and create a tough momentum down there. And the top is breaking apart right now. And Anna, this is where Austin Hill.
And not only the top lane of the racetrack is broken apart, but they've broken up the RCR Chevys at the front of the field. The 2 Haas cars are running 2nd and 3rd in line behind race leader Austin Hill, who has been controlling the top and the bottom, just trying to double block the moves being made by the 41 and the 00 behind him. Jesse Love starting to go backwards. And also remember that both the RCR cars took right side tires only during their pit stop, so they might not have the grip they had once in the race compared to those who took 4, especially with having those extremely old left side tires, which are trying to make it 90 laps around the slippery Atlanta Motor Speedway. Even with the cooler track temps, the cooler air temps here today, overcast skies getting darker into the nighttime. Still a very treacherous track when it comes to overall grip. Side by side now for third on the battle. The 88 of Connor Zilic losing some ground. 3 wide middle off of turn 4, just outside the top 10 now. He was in 6th at one point when they were riding in line single file. Obviously not single file anymore. Big block by the 48 of Nick Sanchez, who's had a great comeback of his own since the last restart. He's up inside the top 10, got very loose off turn 2, with the 16 of Christian Eckes right behind him. Both those two were teammates in the Truck Series last season. Jesse Love trying to slip to the outside of the 00 of Sheldon Creed. Creed with a block to make sure he wasn't going to get split 3 wide middle off of turn 4. 2 laps to go in stage 2. Can Austin Hill hold on? As RCR has led every lap of the second stage and pretty much every lap of the race outside of one lap that was led by Sam Mayer very early in the race. And now the Haas cars are side by side for second and not going to work together anymore. Sam Mayer getting a little impatient as he pulled out of line to make a move on Creed. And he will be clear off turn 4 as they come to the line. Creed getting a little bit of a run at the end of the front stretch back to the right rear corner panel of his teammate. Those two running side by side is really helping Austin Hill. Hill's done a great job controlling both lines of the racetrack with his extremely fast Chevrolet. The race down the back straightaway. Mayer, low, goes high, blocks the 00. He's clear for second. Can he build a run through 3 and 4? The 7 of Allgaier sneaks underneath him for second off of turn 4. As they come to the line, easily Austin Hill controls both lanes again, and Hill will sweep the stages today at Atlanta. Just like last week in Daytona, wins the first 2 stages of the race, but only this week can he get the win and get that 60-point performance as well to try to help aid the regular season standings after a poor finish last week with the mechanical issues he had late, dropping him out of the race with a little less than 40 laps to go. Just showed that big save from Sanchez as they were coming off of turn 2 with a few laps to go in the stage. I don't know if the 16 actually got into him, but definitely packed some air under the rear spoiler of the car and got him a bit air loose at the very least. Diecast today. Yep, it is time for that diecast showing at a stage 2. Thank you for making sure you reminded me. And for today's broadcast, I figured because Austin Hill's won 4 of the last 5 races, and he won this year's, the last Atlanta race last season. Here it is. Number 21 car. It's not Austin Hill. This is actually Kevin Harvick, but it's an RCR 21 car. And it's a Busch Series diecast, which obviously was the original name. Or I guess maybe not the original name. The original name was the Grand National Series. Then it was the Busch Grand National Series. Then it was just the NASCAR Busch Series, Nationwide, Xfinity now. But yeah, NASCAR Busch Series car here. Kevin Harvick, Reese's Chevrolet. This is one of my favorite schemes growing up as far as the Busch Series went. Always liked the candy cars. This one and then the Dale Jr. Oreo car were always my favorite. So we had a diecast showing of the Truck Series earlier. Had a truck, so I figured for an Xfinity race we'll have a classic Xfinity diecast. I really like the Reese's car that Justin Allgaier's used the last couple of years. He's ran several races a season as well. I'd actually argue that one's probably better than this one, but this is just this is a classic. One of my many Kevin Harvick diecasts. Outside of Brian Blaney, Kevin Harvick, I have the most diecasts of outside of that. Yeah, I don't know what the next sponsor is going to be. Xfinity is got their contract coming to an end at the end of this year. They actually only signed a 1-year agreement to sponsor the Xfinity Series that we know of now for this season. But they will not be extending that sponsorship at the end of the year. So maybe we see the return of the Busch Series. Maybe the Nationwide Series comes back. We'll just get another new sponsor that probably have no idea of right now. Just have to wait and see. So Austin Hill wins stage 2. Sam Mayer was 2nd. Sheldon Creed 3rd. Justin Allgaier 4th. Jesse Love 5th. Eric Almirola 6th. Sammy Smith 7th. Connor Zilic 8th. Jeb Burt 9th. And Christian Eckes rounds out the top 10. Into the final stage now. About 70 laps to go. Just past halfway. First 2 stages in the books. This is our 3rd caution. Only one for incident all the way back on lap 5. Lap 6, I think, is actually when the yellow came out for that slide off of turn 2 from Ryan Sieg. I think all 38 cars still in the race. And just like at the end of stage 1, Mason Maggio will get the free pass again in 35th.
That was the second flag NASCAR Xfinity Series race. It all happened Saturday. So Eastern and originally in Pacific on the seat up. It's a big coming to the Xfinity Series next weekend. While Jets then go driving through your motorsports. So the Americans have come to that crazy business. Then we had coming back to the line and also looks like they tried the 17 for HNS. William Bryan, it's on the 500 champion who won there last year. And number one won the 17th for HNS last year. When the tough guys come into these things, the full-time series driver, we learn, wait for the guy, watching on TV. So much fun with racing the tough guys.
And now we take a look at our Golden Mole, brought to you by Carafe.
Stage of the race early fast. There he is, the double.
There we go. It's what the double times on the 16 ways. He finds a way to the front, and he also holds on to maybe sideways race, but don't sit. That's so fine with that moment.
Jeff Hurdenstad born here, 1993, second ever Xfinity race here at Atlanta. Leaders heading down the pit lane. Let's go to Progressive Pit Road. Here's Kim.
Yeah, and for Sammy Smith, a solid stage for him. Had worked his way up as high as the 3rd position. Ultimately finished that stage in the 7th position. Sammy reporting he was about a half a number too tight as you see the cars entering pit road. Sammy will have that first available box, but if reporting too tight, slow, but better. He had the first stage. You see the crew going for some side tires for him, fuel, and a slight adjustment into free for this final stage. As we look at the rest of the field, Sheldon Creed, you see him at the top there, putting tires on that machine. Sheldon said he's pretty free. You see the adjustment to tighten it up. Richard Dunn and Tony trying to learn what is too free for his driver. They'll take more first.
Next to Hill, Stoll finding his pit box, said that they were free once they went, but he wants that feeling to make some moves, let the balance alone, change right side tires, and for Sam Mayer, he was pretty good. Has to be tightened up, has to touch as well. 2 tires for him.
2 again?
Race off Progressive Pit Road, top 2 holding serve with those 2 tire stops. Almirola +3 with 2 tires. Allgaier and Williams Sawalich complete the top 5.
Side the trip is in, the sun's down.
Here we go. All the stage coming up for the
EW.
I would imagine that Austin Hill took lefts only that time, because he took 2 tires again and won the race off of pit road. He took right sides only the first stop. There's no way he's got the same left side tires on there for now 95 laps. He held on to it, but once you were back in traffic, it definitely didn't have the same grip, because we saw Jesse Love lose quite a few spots there at the end of the stage. Still ended up in the back half of the top 10, but definitely didn't have the mobility to race his way forward. Love lost more positions on pit road as well, as he ended up taking 4 tires. A lot of the top 10 ended up taking rights only during that stop. The balance is definitely going to be different for the 21 as well if they changed the left sides and kept the rights on. Interested to see exactly what this ends up coming about. See the antivirus pop up on your screen? Oh, yeah. I saw it. I exited out of it. It was right in the middle of the screen. I had to close out of it, blocking the raw feed there for a couple seconds. All right, so end of stage 2. We'll end the chat poll. 63 votes were cast. It's more votes than we had in the truck race earlier, so thank you for those of you that casted your vote for who you think is going to win today's Xfinity race. Justin Allgaier, who has not led yet in today's race, leads the poll at 33%. 23% taking Austin Hill for the win. Same for somebody other than Hill, Love, or Allgaier. Jesse Love at 19% of the votes. So pretty tight there for second, but Allgaier will be the fan pick of the race here today. Started in the third place position, and he's currently fourth, so he's still up there towards the front of the field. And will those drivers on 4 tires start to kind of migrate forward like they did in that last stage? There were only 3 drivers that took right sides only during the stage 1 pit stops. We didn't have a caution for incident at all in the first stage. Went quite a ways to the finish. We'll take a quick break. You're listening live to the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250 at Atlanta. They are not good on fuel to the end of the race from where we're at right now, unless we were to get a bunch of cautions in the final stage, but not the final pit stop. We are in the final stage of the race. Waiting to see what is going to happen in the second race of the year for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Home race to this point, but that didn't mean anything in the truck race earlier. Although they were racing side by side, I feel like more often than what we've seen in this Xfinity race so far. I think part of the problem, Austin Hill's car is so strong. The RCR cars together so strong. One of them's leading the pack. It's just hard to get up there when you're a non-RCR Chevrolet and take the lead. We only saw a couple lead changes to this point. It's been pretty much between the 2 and the 21 every time. Sam Mayer by nose led a lap, but he was never able to actually pull clear for the lead back in stage 1 when he was battling with Jesse Love. And then when that first caution came out at lap 6, Love was still back in the lead again. So RCR has led all but 1 lap of this race so far, and we're on lap 97.
The NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle home motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive. Blow the corral. Sorry, Nathan Subaru. By TrueWork. Upgrade to the world's most technical performance workwear. 2 stages now, 1 to go for the NASCAR Xfinity Series Round 2 of 2025. The Atlanta Motor Speedway. Martin Glitter, Jamie Murray, I'm Adam Alexander, Carla Metz, Kim Kuhn, Dylan Welch hanging out downstairs for our coverage here on CW. Austin Hill sweeps the stages, and now we get to choose as we set up for this final run of the afternoon.
See those first 3 all take the top, knowing that outside lane is it's going to be the first spot on the starts. Mark, I just can't help but think as we enter into this final stage of the race that the business is getting ready to become.
It absolutely is, because you just got to get more aggressive. You can't let that top lane be controlled by the best cars like we saw in the first 2 stages. Now it is time to assert yourself at the front and fight for that track position and make it happen. And if you need to go to the bottom and pushing the issue, you're going to do that now.
And we have a couple of new players up in the front. You look at, we talked about Joe Gibbs having a tough day. You see both Eric Almirola and Williams Wallach, 3rd and 4th back on that top lane.
Nick Sanchez is up there as well. Haven't said his name a lot today. Let's take a look and see if he's for this race to fit help. Brought to you by Great Career. Yes. You can keep the turkey too. That's true. It's not the real rice. I think he's got turkey. It's safe.
Although one time I had a conversation with Tyler Reddick while he was eating a chili dog before hopping in a race car walking the bed. I thought he was trace. Trace Haver's weight in fluid in ounces before. That's a heck of a algorithm he has going there.
90 ounces. That's a lot. I've never done that. Well, I think, in fairness, set it on the board.
You know how I know I'm drinking that? You have a good bathroom.
Yes.
Yep. Thank you.
Hey, you mentioned new players in the front. Jesse Love is that running position today. Is like that one too. He took 4 tires on the shoes. They take the inside of row 5. He's got some.
All right, 65 laps to go. Green flag is in the air. Stage 3 is underway. Austin Hill will lead us to the green. Justin Allgaier inside of row 1 was 4th coming out of the pits, but the top 3 cars take the outside lane for the restart. 48 of Nick Sanchez up in the top 5 for the first time as he is the car in line 2nd behind Allgaier. Splitting up the junior motorsport Chevrolets as the 8 of Sammy Smith is also up towards the front of the field. He won on a drafting track late last year at Talladega in the playoffs. A lot of pushing going on. 48 to the back of the 7 and the 41 to the back of the 21 at the front of the pack. 6 cars down on the bottom lane of the racetrack, and Allgaier take his first lead of the race. 2 Chevrolets trying to lead their lines up at the front of the field. Austin Hill leads that first green flag lap of stage 3 by about a half a car length or less. And again, it's Allgaier trying to peek his nose out in front into the corner in turns 1 and 2 now. As they work their way to the exit of turn 2 down the back straightaway, the drag race continues. The 41 closes quickly to the back of the 21, gives him a shot. Hill will clear, getting into turn 3. Will he move to the bottom to block the 7, or will he stay wide? He kind of stays in that middle groove, now pulls to the bottom towards the exit of turn 4, and controls both lines as he did towards the end of stage 2 for those last handful of laps when the Haas cars had pulled out of line trying to make a move for the stage win. Austin Hill by far has led the most laps in this race. He qualified second. His teammate Jesse Love led quite a few laps at certain points in this race as well, but Hill has been the more dominant of the two as he ended up leading the most laps at Daytona last week, won the first 2 stages, had a mechanical issue late, dropped him out of the event in the final 40 laps. He's led the most laps so far today. He won the first 2 stages as he did last week. Can he get the win here at Atlanta? 4 stage wins in the first 2 races of the year for Hill. That's huge as far as the playoffs go. I know we're early in the season, but that's 4 playoff points, and we know how close that round of 8 battle could be on a year-over-year basis. That is huge for him. Trying to go for 5 more if he can win this race. I give him 9 playoff points in the first 2 races of the year. I guess he had more last year considering he won the first 2 races of the season with a couple of stages in there, but still such a strong start. It's amazing that every single time we come to a super speedway, he's up there. It's really DEI of the early 2000s is what it reminds me with RCR right now, what they're able to do with their super speedway program in the Xfinity Series level. Speaking of those laps led, 86 laps led and counting for Austin Hill right now, 13 for Jesse Love. The rest of the field has 3. And that was pretty much during pit stops. And then that 1 lap by a nose that Sam Mayer led earlier. 3 wide in the middle of the pack, and it's Sawalich in the middle of it again, just as he was back at stage 1. Just get to the outside in front of his teammate Taylor Gray, behind the 00 of Sheldon Creed. Allgaier's all clear for second now, door-to-door for third on back. Sammy Smith trying to draft up behind his teammate. And Sammy Smith is going to try to slam the door shut for third off turn 2. Moves up, crowds the 48. A bit of a side draft by Sanchez. He holds on. Sanchez no slouch on a super speedway as well, although we didn't see him up towards the front for a lot of Daytona last week. In the Truck Series, he won the Daytona opener, and I believe he got his first career win at Talladega, or did win the Talladega race later in the year as well. He's led a lot of laps at this style racetrack on the truck program, and even with the damaged nose to the race car, he's wheeled that 48 towards the front here. Parker Kligerman had several great runs on the super speedways despite not winning a race, was always in contention, and in fact at Atlanta last year, I think he ended up second if I remember correctly, behind Austin Hill. Top 3 cars are now single file, and Sammy Smith has broken clear. Ryan Sieg is back up in the top 5. He's the one now battling with the 48 of Sanchez. Hill continues to lead the 2 Junior Motorsports Chevys. 4 Chevys and a Ford inside the top 5. Down under 60 laps to go. 58 is where we're working right now. Hill exits turn 4. Jesse Love trying to make some moves. Big move from the top all the way to the bottom. Trying to go 3 wide. That lane closed up quickly. Maybe losing a little ground to the outside lane. Jeb Burton pulling out of line late. Making a move in front of the 2. Oh, little wiggle. 3 wide in the middle for Jeb Burton. Same spot. He got real loose early in the race with contact. No contact that time, but definitely lost the nose. Dirty air probably moves these cars around a ton, especially in the center of the corner. And caution is out further back in the pack. CJ McLaughlin in the 92 looks to have hit the outside wall. Tail end of the field. Got some damage on the right side. The hood pins are kind of up on the right side of the hood of that car as well. Second incidental caution of the race, our first in stage 3, and we should be inside the fuel window now if these drivers want to come in top off just to be safe. We did see a fuel mileage race last year in the Xfinity Series race at Atlanta, so maybe a lot of those teams not going to want to risk it. Come down top off. I highly doubt you're going to see anybody take tires unless they're at the tail end of the field, but even then, they would have just taken tires. We only ran, maybe 12, 13 green flag laps there. It wasn't many. So again, CJ McLaughlin bringing out our caution single car incident. Top 5 that were within, obviously, a second of the lead at the time of the yellow. Austin Hill in the lead. Justin Allgaier second. Sammy Smith third. Nick Sanchez fourth. And Ryan Sieg rounds out the top 5 in fifth. And that is where the field is frozen. Once that caution came out, went back to the last scoring loop, of course. Seth Thomas, thanks for tuning in. Been here for a couple minutes now. I like the dude just like jumping on the hood of the car to try to knock it down, just trying to put his full body weight on it. Like a fish out of water. So you put your body into it right there. It wasn't really working. It kept flapping back up again. Get that bear bond out now. Patcher down.
Looking for a cable news network which respects all Americans, then you have a new home, News Nation. See why News Nation is America's fastest growing cable news network. We run News Nation on your screen. Go to News Nation now. Go. The Wheeling caution lights are flashing once again here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Fourth yellow of the afternoon. It's for the 92 of Virginia.
Place on the right front tire. I'm getting the one exactly. Left front back to the wall.
Rich Doug, Rich Doug, you're watching the NASCAR Xfinity Series on WTV.
All right. Pit road not open yet. Will be shortly. Maybe we won't see that many drivers come down. 73 laps in this final stage. By the time they would have opened pit road, probably would have been around 70 laps to go in the race. Fuel window is around 60. Maybe these teams are banking on more cautions the rest of the way. A little less than 60 laps to go with where we're at currently. In fact, by the time we restart, we'll probably be closer to 50 laps to go in the race. We only saw 2 cautions per incident in the truck race, and this is our second one here in the Xfinity side. Although there were less trucks in that field than what we have in the Xfinity Series field. And all the Xfinity cars still on the racetrack. Nobody's out of the race. See if McLaughlin will be able to continue as he's fallen off the lead lap as well. Carson Ware gets the free pass in 35th. I'm not sure if he's exactly 2 laps down like it shows on a raw feed or if he was 1 down, but he'll at least get a lap back. Whether he be on the lead lap or down to 1 lap down, not entirely sure yet though. So the fan vote pick was Justin Allgaier for the win. He hasn't led yet, but he's up towards the front now. Austin Hill is fastly approaching 100 laps led in the race. He's at 94 with still just over 50 laps to go. But still, the lead 94 of 110 laps on a drafting track is very, very impressive. It was impressive to see Busch lead about 80 laps earlier today in the truck race. And Hill's outdoing him already in less amount of laps to what we've ran to this point. Jesse Love did lead a lot of laps last year, though. All but about a dozen in the Atlanta spring race before Austin Hill was able to win on that fuel mileage finish. Kind of roles reversed the way Daytona went this year with how Atlanta went last year, where Hill dominated the Daytona race and Jesse Love was able to get the win. It was a second career win for Jesse Love. His only other one came at Talladega last spring. It was his only win of his rookie year at the Xfinity Series level. So 1 for 1 to start off year number 2. Delbert says 3 more cautions. Down in the chat below. We'll see. 42 likes on the stream. Our goal is to get to 50. So be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we continue our live coverage, of the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250 at Atlanta. A lot of racing still to go. Best lap of the race, by the way, for Austin Hill was at lap 101, which was during the last green flag run, and he took 2 tires again. I wasn't paying close enough attention on his pit stop if that were the left sides or the right sides. couple other drivers on lap 101 ran their fastest laps in the top 10. Nick Sanchez, Ryan Sieg as well. Carson Kvapil also on that list. Somebody's got a fire going in the camping section. Trying to stay warm. Cool night. It was 79-degree air temp high at the start of the truck race earlier. And then the clouds went in front of the sun. The wind picked up. And now, obviously, the air temp continuing to drop as we get into the nighttime at Atlanta.
Warning lights of NASCAR, America's most trusted manufacturer of emergency lights and sirens.
Speaking of Wheeling, the Wheeling driver is glad the caution came out because it was getting a little bit crazy as we were right there when CJ brought out the caution there with that blown right front. Jesse Love's got a regroup partner. He does. He's got to find some way to get back to the front. We know he has a fast car, and I think he might have discussed this on the radio too.
Phil, a long way to go here.
All right, so I told you I don't like driving my car. I do like his advice, though. It's exactly what I would say. Just take a deep breath. You've got a fast car. There's going to be a lot happen over the next 50 laps. Just get yourself in the right position. I like to lose in that outside lane, and it just wasn't moving forward. It's going to take a little while for that to cycle out.
Hey, last week, he laid wings the entire first part of the race. It didn't take control till the final 30, 35 laps. I mean, in his eyes, based on how he won last week, this race hasn't even started. We get to choose. Allgaier was second. He jumps outside lane behind race leader Austin Hill.
Well, I just choose behind Austin Hill. I don't care which lane it is. I'm just choosing behind the 21 car because he's pulling the train along. Whatever lane he's in, that's the fast lane.
Kim?
Yeah, if you saw Jeff Burton and his choose will restart on the third row, and he had that save earlier. He is one of the most reliable drivers when it comes to drafting trucks. 23 straight drafting truck starts without a DNF. This is actually a very important race for the team. The body hung entirely in-house for Jordan Anderson Racing. This is something that this smaller team has been working towards since day one. Right now, having a great race. Jeff Burton and this team.
Yeah, the boss man, Jordan Anderson, top 10 last week at Daytona. And when you look at the top 10 here, some interesting names. Talk about Nick Sanchez and the adversities he's had to overcome. Sam Mayer's been there all day in the 41. Kim just updated the 27 of Jeff Burton. There's the veteran Eric Almirola in the 19. The 00 Sheldon Creed looking for his first ever win, just like the 39 of Ryan Sieg, who had the early save, drops back outside the top 25, and here they are in position once again at his home track.
All right, exactly 50 laps to go. Green flag back in the air again for Austin Hill as he leads the field of the green. And the 48, we'll see if he can lead a line with the nose damage. We saw some damage on the left front fender of Daniel Hemrick earlier, and he was able to get to the lead late somehow. So I wouldn't say it's impossible for the 48, who's got far less damage than what we saw out of Hemrick. 3 wide to the bottom, though, not wasting any time, is the Haas car of Sam Mayer. And backwards goes Nick Sanchez. More coordinated, obviously, in that outside line with Mayer pulling out of the bottom. Justin Allgaier is also going to lose the outside of the racetrack to his teammate Sammy Smith. Smith is going to get the second off of turn 4. Allgaier leads the inside unintentionally, I'm sure. Probably wasn't expecting his teammate to get to that point, get to that right rear corner panel, and bypass him. Austin Hill trying to control both lanes of the racetrack down the back straightaway. Mostly stays around the top side that time. And as they cross the start-finish line this time by, again, it's Austin Hill leading, Sammy Smith in second, Eric Almirola third, Justin Allgaier fourth, and Ryan Sieg is in fifth. Turns 1 and 2. 3 wide still in the middle of the pack right now. Jeb Burton's in the middle, 3 wide again. That's been the case a couple times. Trying to side draft the bottom groove of the track just a bit on the 48 car who's underneath him. Quite a bit of tape on the nose of the 27 as well. Looks like it, at least. 54 up the middle, drafting with the 27. Might be able to get by the 48. Nope, couldn't quite get back to the bottom. It's an interesting move. We haven't really seen anybody try to pick someone up in the draft in the middle line all day today. That counts the truck race and this Xfinity race. And now the 54 is going backwards as Jeb Burton's just kind of pulling him. Despite still being in the middle, and now Jeb Burton pulls to the outside. 48 moves up to the middle. Not sure if that was intentional or not. He'll get the quick bump draft from Taylor Gray, and then right back down to the bottom again. Helped Gray out for about a half a straightaway, and that might have been it. Oh, one car round off turn 2, the 51, and a couple others pile in. A big hit to the inside wall for the 54. And then Clemens came back across the racetrack to the outside, and I'm not sure if anybody might have hit him or not. I don't see anybody else with damage on camera to this point. But definitely quite a bit of damage to the 54, Taylor Gray. Took a pretty good hit nose first into the inside retaining wall on the back straightaway. Clements broke free off of turn 2 on the outside lane, which started the incident. Turned down across the 88 and the 54. They both went to the inside. Didn't look like there was much damage on the 88 of Zilich's car. He had DNF last week at Daytona in a Stage 3 crash. Will be able to continue at least for now. Definitely going to lose some track position. Not sure exactly where Clements was running. We saw the 54 in the middle, 3 wide. We'll take a look to see how this wreck started. So Clements was in the outside lane, as I stated already. It just looked like he cut down on the 54, a little too close. 54 was right there the whole time, 3 wide middle, just kind of fell off the top lane. I don't know that he was necessarily trying to block. I think he just shifted his line quite a bit. And didn't actually make contact with the 54, but definitely got aero loose once he moved down enough. Took the air off of the rear spoiler, and around they went. Just a side swipe of the right side door on the numbers of the 88, and that was about it. The damage to the 54 of Gray, I don't know that he's going to be able to continue because he bashed that left front end quite a bit. Every car that started the race is still in as of right now, so we'll monitor that. Gray could end up with a last place finish in this one if you're looking at who might get last car today. Brock Beard's going to get a shout out here on KRC. One car got against the wall right behind the 51 after the slide from Clements. I thought off camera, just assuming, that the 51, when he came back across the track to the outside, that he was going to pancake a couple cars, but that never happened. Luckily, everybody missed. Great wreck avoidances there in the middle of the pack. I still couldn't tell who that car was on the outside behind Clements that scraped the wall. It was a white car of some sort. There's a lot of white cars in the field. Maybe it was Blaine Perkins. It might have been the 31. Because he's around Zilich in the running order, and I know he's got a white car. Who knows? Maybe we'll get an update when they come back from the commercial break, and we'll know exactly who it might have been. So under caution, yet again. So you're listening live to NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage in the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250. This is our 5th caution of the race today, our 3rd for incident, not including the stage breaks. 27 laps have been spent under caution. Only 9 lead changes still, as Austin Hill has led over 100 of the 120 laps completed in this race. 104 laps and counting. Holding on every restart, even without his teammate Jesse Love anywhere near him. Love on the restart was 12th, lost a couple more spots. He's in 14th. He was down on the bottom lane, so that's why he kind of missed out on a couple positions there from the restart. A thrilling NASCAR Craftsman. Hear myself in my ear now. Went to the wrong page. Yeah, I did end the chat poll. I know I talked about it. I wanted to make sure I actually did finish it. Well, the fan pick of Allgaier to win the race fell behind a little bit. Nobody really pitted during that last caution. They're going to get even more caution laps to try to save fuel. So these teams had a pretty good idea that that wasn't going to be the last yellow in the restart with 50 laps to go. So they'll continue to be able to try to stretch this final fuel window. I'm curious to see if Zillich comes to pit road. I don't think he took any contact to any of his tires. I think it was strictly just the door of his car. Probably don't want to put him further back in traffic if they can help it. He's right in the middle of the pack at 16th currently. But with 34 cars on the lead lap, he could still lose quite a few more positions. And if we continue to get more and more incidences the closer we get to the end of the race as well, he's just in more and more danger the further back of the pack he goes. Not that the middle of the pack is that much better, but especially considering he was just involved in that incident right around the middle of the pack. Still at 43 likes on the stream. We're 7 away from our goal of 50. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And once again, a reminder for our coverage tomorrow afternoon for the NASCAR Cup Series race. That will begin at 2:30 p.m. Eastern right here on the channel. We'll go live with our pre-race coverage. 42 laps to go and counting down under caution still here at Atlanta for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Just over an hour and a half into this race from the initial drop of the green flag. We did have a red flag in the truck race earlier today. Have not seen that so far in the Xfinity race. By car count, though, this is the most cars involved in an incident, even though it was only 3 or 4. That might have been Josh Williams who scraped the wall on the outside. I think I saw Williams on pit road. He's got a white car, too. He might have been the car behind Clements who was up against the wall off turn 2 trying to miss him. It definitely looked like the 11 car on pit road. Just waiting to get back to green. Got about 80 people in the chat. Appreciate everybody tuning in here for the late going to this NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Second race of the season. We'll see if RCR can go 2 for 2. Jesse Love, though, to go 2 for 2 to start the year, has fallen pretty far back in the pack now. He's 14th. It's going to take a lot for him to try to get to the front of the field. The more and more cautions we get, the less likely that's going to be because he's going to have less green flag laps to try to race himself up there. He's still got time, though. We'll have 40 laps to go in the restart. Be 10 laps less than what we had on the restart before this. Very few cars taking that inside line. Never really got to single file there. We only ran a couple of laps on that green flag run anyway. Yeah, Austin Hill's looking really good, obviously. He's definitely got the dominant car of the night. We'll see if he can capitalize off of it. It's one thing to have the fastest car. It's another thing to win with it. Feel like a lot tougher nowadays in NASCAR compared to ever before. Double file restarts, just so many more variables, I feel like, than what there used to be. So many more competitive cars than what there used to be, too. Although he's got the best car, the difference between first and second, not going to be as much as what it was a long time ago. He's done it before. Again, he's won 4 of the last 5 races here. Can he do it again? Green flag in the air. Already getting a great push right in the middle of that restart zone. The 8 car was on his back bumper, trying to get him out going in the right direction. Ryan Sieg on the bottom. 2 Georgia natives on the front row for the restart. Sieg almost won the inaugural race here. He got beat by Ty Gibbs late in 2022 spring event. Hasn't been that close at Atlanta to getting a win ever since. He's had some good runs, but now he's up towards the front of the field. And he got up into the top 5 late in stage 2 as well. Just kind of creeped in there. And here he is right now. 40 laps to go. 39 left at the line now. And he's running top 5 once more. See if he continues to try to stay on the bottom and just wait to get a good push from behind. Showing some smoke coming out of the back of the 20 of Brandon Jones. Pretty tightly side by side for second between Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg off of turn 2. 3 wide middles, the 19 now of Eric Almirola. We haven't seen Almirola towards the front of the field for a large portion of this race. He's got the 48 of Nick Sanchez following him in the middle lane. It is tight. 3 by 3. Not a lot of room. That was a very tight squeeze there for the 19. Great job by the veteran Almirola to hold a steady wheel, keep from getting pinched off completely. And what happened to Sammy Smith? He's starting to go backwards in the outside. For the first time today, the inside line is prevailing. That's counting both races, the truck and now the Xfinity race. Oh, big trouble for the 20. Brandon Jones cautions out again. And I don't know if he got hit or if it was the maybe potential fluids coming out from underneath the car. That could have been an issue as well. There was definitely some smoke for about a lap or so before Brandon Jones was involved in an incident. I'll tell you what, the bad luck he had in junior motorsports for 2 years, I think that might have lingered on back to his JGR run again. Won a few races with JGR in his first stint there. Went to junior motorsports, missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. Now he's back with JGR, and he's gotten in a wreck the first 2 races of the season. Granted, it's speedway racing, but I mean, it's just one thing after another. It's not even a snowball effect. It's an avalanche at this point. There's no stopping it. He was squirrely on the straightaway. He definitely had to have been getting fluid on his tires for him to just lose control when he did. And as he came back across the racetrack, it doesn't look like anybody else hit him, but there were a few cars that wrecked trying to avoid the incident and or ran into the back of one another. The 53 went sliding down into the grass in the middle of 3 and 4 towards the inside wall, and there might have been somebody else collected as well. Hill still holds on to the lead. Sieg was underneath him, but Hill had the bumper out in front. And actually, no, they were single file on the bottom. But a good restart, though, for the inside row 1 for Sieg. One of the better restarts we've seen from the bottom lane of the track from a non-RCR car all night. It's now yellow number 6. We've reached over 30 laps of caution out of the 127 that have been completed to this point in the race. Twenty cars rolling back up onto the racetrack. How low the tire pressure is. Just dragging the splitter all the way around the racetrack. Those right side tires so low. See the ripplage effect on the sidewall. Big wreck avoidance by Connor Zilich in the 88. The 20 broke down the racetrack getting into turn 3. He had to go down below the white line to miss him. Luckily for Brandon Jones, he was at the tail end of the pack. And then everybody that was kind of hanging out well behind the lead pack was far enough back that they were able to miss it outside of the 2 cars that kind of ran into each other, trying to avoid. Tell you what, Jeb Burton's made some gutsy moves in this one, but he's up to 6th. He's done a great job fighting his way through traffic. He mid-packed for most of the race, and now he's up in contention. Again, we're going to have less and less green flag laps, so the more cautions we get to the finish. We're going to have just over 30 to go when we get back to racing. Yeah, once again, be sure to hit the like button. 2 likes away from our goal of 50 now on the stream. Stay right here on the channel for the moment. A lot easier for Hill to lead laps under yellow, I will say. But a lot of pressure to help get that push from behind on a restart. So far, he has gotten it every single time. Doesn't matter who is behind him. Doesn't matter what manufacturer it's been either. 112 laps led. The more and more restarts we get, though, you just wonder if he's going to get beat. Not because of his equipment, but just 2 drivers tandeming well enough together to allow 1 car to slide clear. Even if they do get that 1 car to slide clear, You'd have to imagine a crossover is coming if the room is given. Super Beam Man 1, Tim Irvin, thanks for tuning in. Who won the Red Wings game? They lost in overtime today. Apparently they blew it. They were up 3-1, I think, in the third period. And still lost. Got 1 point towards the season standings. Obviously didn't get to watch any of it, but I was keeping track of the score, and it was late in the truck race when I saw that they ended up losing in overtime. To Minnesota. 34 to go under caution. We'll see if they get the 1 to go signal this time. I believe they are. Nope, lights are still on. Never mind. We have not got 1 to go yet. 80 people in the chat. Greatly appreciate everybody watching. Wild truck race. I did put up the finish with my commentary from that truck race earlier on the channel before this Xfinity race started. I'm going to try to be consistent with that all year. Not try. I will be consistent with that all year with the live commentary streams. Did that throughout Speed Week last week and one race down, obviously, so far this weekend. Just depends on, what kind of action we see in a race. Maybe some weeks won't have any, but it would be for a particular reason. It wouldn't be just for not having it. I'd be shocked if they don't get the 1 to go signal this time. So yeah, we'll have 32 laps to go on the restart. Clicking away quickly. Even under the slow caution pace. So the top 3 took the outside, I believe, the last 2 times for the restart. Justin Allgaier's in 4th. I could see a situation where the top 3 take the top again, and then the 2 Junior Motorsport Chevys in 4th and 5th take the bottom. And they'll be trying to work together to take down Austin Hill. We'll see. Just getting to the line here. We know Hill's definitely taking the top. Nope, Seed goes right back to the bottom. And his Ford goes with him. Not a teammate, but Sam Mayer, blue oval, follows one other blue oval. And then both the Junior Motorsport cars do stay together, but they'll be on the outside lane, 2nd and 3rd. Top 10 for the restart. Austin Hill in the lead. Well, actually, more on that in a second. Here's Taylor Gray outside of the Infield Care Center.
Well, like right now, nobody had a solid day, at least early on.
Yeah, I felt like our operation leader, J.R. Spro, was this fast 6 inning mobile. Just thought being really free there at the beginning of the race and got shuffled out and lost my track position. And unfortunately, that happens whenever you bring a bunch of cars here and essentially to a speedway and try to make ground back up when we're all running single file. I was trying to run the middle and try to get some ground made back up. I felt like the laps were winding down and needed to start going somewhere. And the 51 just started to shake down. I don't know. Not sure if he was just following the guys the problem and wasn't paying too close attention or didn't hear necessarily the spotter or what. But just started shaking down and got him free arrow wise and it's kind of just wrecked.
Well, he didn't do anything wrong. He's frustrated because his day's over. He had a great run at Daytona, had a great run going today. He's frustrated. Nobody did anything wrong. It was time to go. It was. That what it is again? Yep. Oh, really time to go.
Got 32 laps left. Here we go. Austin Hill leads the field to the green yet again. Just like we were last restart, both of the Georgia natives are up there at the front of the field. Ryan Sieg doesn't get as great of a push this time, though, from Sam Mayer. Hill's easily going to have the lead into the first turn. Justin Allgaier trying to get both those outside lane cars clear. That would be the best thing for Junior Motorsports is if they can get the 2nd and 3rd. That'd be a great opportunity to try to take down Austin Hill if things get tamed back to single file again. Little contact off the exit of turn 2 between Mayer and his former teammate there, Justin Allgaier. We've got 3x3 racing all of a sudden going on. We haven't seen this all day, not like what we have right now on the restart. We got about 4 rows of 3 wide just outside of the top 5. Sanchez almost went 4 wide to the bottom. He thought better of it. Smart move. That was never going to work. I'm surprised 3 wide is even working to this point. All going on in the middle of the pack. Top 7 or so are running double wide up until you get to the leader. Austin Hill is just trying to control both lanes of the racetrack. 30 laps to go at the line this time by the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Atlanta.
Fortunately, no, that's right there.
Screen 71 is Ryan Ellis looking for his career top 10 finish. The driver from Virginia 14th right now.
They talk a lot about him towards the end of the race. We saw him up front, finishing one, but ran really well at the end of the day. So it was actually in a great position. It's basically the 5th car on the bottom. That would get him to the top 10 if it starts to fall on the side and that bottom ring starts to move. Great moves late in the race by Ryan Ellis.
There's some other names to pay off. Got rid of people up there in the front, 99, Matt DiBenedetto. And Jesse Love has said it's time to. He's trying to make up some lost ground all the way back inside the top 15.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the harder he tries, the farther to the back he's going right now. He's just keeps ending up at the wrong side, trying to force the issue. And the one thing I would tell Jesse Love is that he's had such a fast car, so many his races were leading. He'll learn a lot about being in the draft and the decisions to make. He's going to learn all of it today. Hopefully, he can get back up front and listen. So,
And speaking of great news, Rentzoff now finds himself in 5th place. And that move from the middle, from outside the top 10 to the top of the, with like 5th in the top lane, into the top 10, and now into the top 5. That's a heck of a move.
you see, he's right behind the 19 American Corolla. Freed got to Eric's outside in that last run. Guarantee the 19th not on anybody sneaking up his outside. As you see, he's in there.
Oh, yeah, no.
Higher now. Not going to let that happen again. You get me once, you'll be able twice.
And now we take a look at our Xfinity fastest lap as they run all track. Christian Eckes the best of the bunch with 27 to go. Remember, he didn't come from that in 2025. Last week it went to Jeremy Clements. And see he gets it tonight in the clubhouse. The Brooklyn
That's a big deal. We only had 4 stage points today, so they have to hold on a position basically in a stage. Huge deal getting that fast lap. But I don't think they won't beat him because he really didn't have in the race when he was getting those huge runs, trying to make the bottom work by himself. That probably created huge lap time.
Harrison Burns after that top 10 last week's been quiet in the 24. Great 4 down low. Tyler Zillins trying to get back in the game to the 88.
Yeah, it looks like that car is not handling too terribly bad. He talked about the front end. I mean, that's the strength. But it looks like he's able to maintain. You see Jesse Love in front of them, just going wherever they're not. Like, you'll see he gets to the inside of Nick Sanchez. That car is so fast, able to generate some runs. Clear Sanchez and slides up front.
How about this? Last week it named all in the top 15, 10 different organizations represented. That's a Xfinity Series. We got 9 in the top 11 tonight. Among them, Leland Honeyman Jr. driving for Cook Family Racing. He gets the first 2 starts. Thomas Anziano's going to race it the next couple of weeks. He's really good on the road. This team is making a highlight reel in the latter stages.
That's awesome to see. I know they've got ECR motors in those cars. Good power underneath the hood. It's cool to see small or new teams come in here and basic sense from the Xfinity Series. You mentioned all the organizations. That's the parity in this series. Remember, these cars and the rules have not changed for years. That information is throughout the field. And that's when you see these races, all these different organizations showing their best stuff. Well, he's in the best lane right now. It's starting to get single file again. Everybody seek migrate to the front. Mayer was trying to fit in right there on Leland Honeyman. There wasn't room in order to get up into that out lane. Everybody's wanting to get into position right now. We might have a few laps of this single file train where everybody position.
23 laps to go as they cross the start-finish line that time by. Austin Hill leads still. There's a little contact on the back straightaway. Sam Mayer tried to pull up into the outside, squeezed a car that was already there, and I wonder if that's going to cause a left front tire rub on the 70, it looked like. That had gotten squeezed into the outside lane. No smoke as of right now on that car. Jesse Love still making moves forward through the pack finally. Moves he was making earlier were dropping him further back in line. Not the case anymore. He's almost reached the top 10 again. Not a ton of spots gained, but he's definitely moving forward. Trying to get closer to his teammate Austin Hill at the front of the pack. 3 wide around where Jesse Love's at. Gets underneath the Sam Mayer in the 41, who's still trying to get to the outside. Can't do it. Working the exit in turn 4. We got a crash. Sam Mayer's around. Heavy impact into the outside wall. The 42 also collected. What happened to Sam Mayer? What an impact. It's a nasty hit. He was 3 wide middle, but it looked like Jesse Love had cleared him. And then all of a sudden the crash happened. It's Anthony Alfredo in the 42. He's not going to be able to go anywhere. He's trying, but there's fluid coming out from underneath the race car. Window net is down on the 41 of Mayer, probably trying to catch his breath. The 07's got some damage. Nick Lights. Left front tire looks to be down on that car. Oh, no, maybe not. Just tire rub going on. Sparks are flying. 48. Nick Sanchez tried to peek in late, 3 wide. Wasn't a lot of room, and he clipped the 41 of Mayer. Mayer goes down the racetrack, and when he came off of the banking of the corner to the flat of the apron, he ended up coming right back across the racetrack and hit head on into the wall. Connor Zilic missed another one. Wow. For the most part, there's a little bit of contact with the 41 and the 88. And that might have been what actually ended up turning him up the racetrack. It wasn't much contact, but just enough of the right rear Zilic as he was passing by on the apron trying to avoid an accident again. And he was just able to do so. Not sure that there's really any damage on the 48 of Sanchez. He made a great save when he was sliding, but thinks that the incident was caused to his outside. So caution strikes with about 21 laps to go. The final green flag run of the truck race lasted about 23 laps to the end. So this is already going to be less of a green flag run to the checker, depending on when exactly we get back to racing here in this Xfinity Series race as well. That was definitely the heaviest impact of the afternoon between both races. It looked like, honestly, had the 88 not gone low to try to miss it, I think that Sam Mayer would have ended up saving it. Just a little bit of contact forced him right back up the racetrack, and Mayer's definitely done for the day. We get an interview from him after he gets out of the infield care center. Obviously, I'll let you listen into that. Just a late move there by Sanchez, really is what it was. And the rookie causing a big, vicious crash here at Atlanta. Turn 4 with about 21 to go. 19 laps left under the caution right now. I probably imagine we're going to have right around 15 laps to go, maybe even less than that when we get back to racing. Austin Hill at every green flag lap during that run yet again. Green flag run only lasted about 9 laps. We've had 3 straight single-digit green flag runs here in the final stage. A lot of stop and go in stage 3. After stage 2 went caution-free, and we had just that one yellow all the way back at stage 1 at lap 6. Full screen commercial break as of right now on the CW. We'll take a break of our own while we're waiting for them to come back. Again, you're listening live to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Atlanta Motor Speedway and the Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250. Here comes the commercials. I figured, might as well get my ads in while they're getting their ads in on the CW. Only makes sense. We're not missing any of the action. It's 128 laps led for Hill. Get back to racing here. Yeah, 129 right now and counting. He's going to end up leading about 150 laps in this race if we stay green to the end. Maybe more than that if we go into overtime. And he's still leading. Remember, nobody came in to top off during any of these cautions, so they're constantly saving fuel. If we were to go past the scheduled distance, like we did a season ago, same race length, we could end up seeing fuel mileage come into play. But if we don't go past the scheduled distance, then I don't imagine fuel will be an issue with all the caution laps ran. It's also going to depend on how many overtimes we end up getting, which we did have one overtime last week at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. And then the race ended under yellow for a crash on the final lap in that overtime. Just over 2 hours into the race for the NASCAR Xfinity Series to this point. This is our 7th caution, or 5th one for incident. Still stuck at the 9 lead changes, almost 40 laps of yellow. It'll be over 40 by the time we go green. As we have about 17 laps to go or so under the caution now. We'll go through the full field running order here before this next restart. Austin Hill is leading, Justin Allgaier second, Sammy Smith third, Eric Almirola fourth, Sheldon Creed is fifth, Parker Retzlaff in sixth, Ryan Sieg seventh, Christian Eck is eighth, ninth for Jesse Love, Jeb Burton 10th, Leland Honeyman 11th, William Sawalich 12th, Connor Zilic 13th, 14th Daniel Dye, Nick Sanchez 15th, Brennan Poole 16th, 17th for Matt DiBenedetto, 18th is Carson Kvapil, Josh Williams 19th, Harrison Burton 20th, Ryan Ellis 21st, Josh Balicki 22nd, Jeremy Clements 23rd, Blaine Perkins 24th, Chris Wright in 25th, Joey Gase 26th, Mason Massey 27th, Garrett Smithley 28th, Carson Ware 29th, Nick Lights 30th is scored as the last car in the lead lap. Brandon Jones, surprisingly still in the race, but a lap down in 31st. Same for CJ McLaughlin in 32nd, Mason Maggio 33rd. Sam Mayer out of the race, scored 34th right now. Anthony Alfredo 35th will be out as well. Kyle Sieg will make up enough laps to pass them in the running order, but right now is 36. Dean Thompson still in the race. He will make up enough laps if he makes it to the finish to pass those drivers as well in the running order. And Taylor Gray will finish last as he is already out. We heard an interview from him earlier. He'll end up in 38th with the last place finish. So that is the leaderboard update in the late going here. Under caution, 16 laps to go now for the NASCAR Xfinity Series spring race at Atlanta. Can anybody take down Austin Hill? And I honestly thought, with that being single file at the very front of the field, Allgaier, Sammy Smith, teammates running second and third, that would be the best opportunity to try to take Hill down if they can get a long enough green flag run to the checker, and those two are able to break free of anybody who might be on the bottom lane. So they're not boxed in. They have the room to try to pull out a line on Hill. I would imagine Hill's going to be very aggressive with the block. Just hope that it doesn't cause an incident. Yeah, they didn't get the one to go signal that last time by. We'll see if they end up getting it this time. If they do, we'll have 14 laps to go in the restart. Delbert says no more yellows. We shall see. Hill's up over 130 laps led in the race right now. He's won the last 2 spring races at Atlanta, and again, he's won 4 of the last 5 here. Some closer than others. Home track, too. Got to be a good track to be good at when you're at home. Swept the 2024 races here for the Xfinity Series, winning them both. JoJo says number 7, Justin Allgaier. That was the fan vote earlier in the race. Oh, yeah, a lot more damage to Zilich. He definitely didn't miss it this time. I was wondering whose foam that was that came off. The replay of the incident when Sam Mayer was going down the racetrack definitely ripped off the foam of the right side door. Connor Zilich, so he's back on pit road. They're going to try to tape that shut. Try to get him back out there. I thought that the foam was a... I thought you had to have that in the car. They didn't replace it. Maybe it's only on the driver's side door where it's a necessity. I don't know. I would imagine a drafting track would probably be a necessity on both sides. NASCAR makes so many rule changes in the offseason, I don't even know anymore. On the manufacturer race, got Chevy's top 3, Toyota, Ford rounding out the top 5. Another Chevy of Retzlaff in 6th for JD Motorsports. Great run for that program. Ford of Ryan Segan 7th. And then 3 Chevys rounding out the top 10 with Eckes, Love, and Burton. Jesse Love's back in the top 10 tonight. Don't count him out of it yet as well. Took him 9 laps to go, only up 5 positions in the running order there, but he was working down on the bottom. Maybe he could leapfrog some more spots if enough cars take the outside for the choose when they get to that. They still didn't get the 1-to-go signal that last time. A lot of laps being ticked away under this caution. Came out with, 21 laps to go, so this will be the 6th lap under this current caution, 7 at the line. We'll see if they choose this time. And they will. 1-to-go signal. Hill's obviously going to take the top. Junior Motorsports will both take the top. So it leaves the bottom for the 19 of Eric Almirola. We have not seen Almirola sniff the lead yet today, but he'll be inside of row 1 alongside the Chevrolet of Austin Hill. He's got a Ford of Cole. It's not Cole Custer. I did that last week at Daytona once. I called the 00 Cole Custer. I'm so used to it. All those years he drove in that car in the Xfinity Series, and now it's Sheldon Creed. Here's Sam Mayer outside the Infield Care Center.
How are you and what happened on that one?
Yeah, I mean, props to all the guys back in the shop to make these cars as safe as they are. I feel pretty good getting out of there. So definitely frustrating though. This automatic Ford Mustang was hauling the mail for sure. We were keeping up with all those guys up the front, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. Like looking at the replay here, it's just that sucks. But we brought the cars past Xfinity. That's all you can ask for. And going on the call down, we know we're gonna haul the mail there. So looking forward to it.
Prior to the choose, 8 organizations inside.
All right, here we go. Double wide. Austin Hill outside front row for the restart yet again. Inside front row for the restart is going to be the 19 of Eric Almirola. And we are going to have 13 laps to go in this race when they cross the stripe.
Truck series. Let's see if we can do it here in the Xfinity series.
Yeah, got a nice little check flag clear this afternoon.
Outside, if Justin Allgaier was able to get on Austin Hill, give him a huge shove here down at the turn. I'm thinking if I'm Allgaier, though, I want to get to the lead. Pass him as soon as I can, and hopefully try to get the 21 car shuffled out. I don't want to have to race him for the win, knowing how fast that car is.
So I want to do exactly what he's doing. Push him as far as you can and then fall. So you to attach to your rear bumper, create the gap that you need, fall back to the lines behind you, and use that momentum to propel past the 21. Let's see if we can pull it off.
Got the man that won the most races a year ago and made the championship. Still leading right behind him. The champ, Justin Allgaier. Sammy Smith, tapped down last fall. He's in the mix in the 8. Crafting help from Sheldon Creed, the 00. Never won in the Xfinity Series.
That run came not from just Allgaier, but from Sammy Smith because of how far out front they got. I don't like that they let the 21 get out front. He kind of manipulated those lanes now. It is. It's just going to take connecting the cars behind you. All guys got all the roll behind him. If he can get him to connect on two, that can create the momentum down into three, possibly put the 21 in the position. If you're going to need the both cars to be putting the 20. There it is. You see, I drafted already on Sammy Smith trying to pull him back. I like the gap though right there that the 7's getting on the 21. If Hornets have the slide, can't really loose. You see, the Grentoff is now going to be on the back of the 19 because over he got loose, but now they're going to connect. Can they generate any type of a run right here? The straightaways are so much shorter than Atlanta than what we see at Daytona or Talladega, where it's a similar type of racing. It's really to generate that run because of the distance. Oh, there's a piece of foam on the racetrack that got on the front line. Sammy Smith, someone wants it. Oh, I'm certain that's the 88 of Sitch who was missing that foam on the right side door. They tried to close it up. That's all. It's funny, and we don't heard of every caution debris.
Eighth caution of the evening. He'll restart with less than 10 laps to go. 9 remaining right now. And there you see the debris that forced yellow to turn on the wheel and caution lights.
They've tried to take that foam, in Connor Zolge's car, and I saw something fly out in the middle of turn 22. That's obviously the piece they call Maribon, that they would try to hold that foam in. Obviously, the foam came out that the Maribon's went off. But that's saving grace for Sammy Smith because he had that foam on his car. If he was the lead car in the line, you can't get it off unless someone pulls up in front of you. He pulls up behind Eric Umbrella, one of the cars in front of him, lets that fall off. Yeah, here's the 88 Connor Zone. It's just going to lose some of that bare bond you mentioned, and then the right side is basically going to open up at some point. They deposit all that foam on the racetrack. Where is it? The foam? With a couple laps to go, I would like a little bit off. I'm being closed off like that. Yeah, it's starting to go fast. It'll last 8 laps. If electric motors can make it.
I'll say this though, if he hit it, right? If some of the excess debris goes shooting up in the air, I know the level of concentration is so high behind the wheel, but that to me, if I'm in there settled in, that's gotta be distracting.
It's just like driving down the highway. If you think you're going to hit something, you kind of flinch right before it gets there, but the foam, not so bad.
All good. Sammy Smith, breathe is going. Again, stuff coming out from here. Big start.
Well, under caution yet again, our 8th time of the race. Just as many cautions as we had last week at Daytona, I do believe, at this point. We're going to have less than 10 laps to go on the restart. Actually, I have less than 10 laps to go as of right now. Austin Hill, again, the race leader. Justin Allgaier second. Eric Almirola third at the time of the caution. I sound fine. The mic's cutting out when the actual race audio's on. In that case, I definitely can't do much about that. I almost wonder if the mic is peaking with the volume of the race broadcast, and I wonder if that's why it's cutting in and out for you guys. I will end up getting a new mic here shortly. I did have a really good mic most of the way through last season until later in the year when I accidentally dropped it and it broke. So I haven't had that mic in a while. I'm going to repurchase one hopefully before next weekend. My next payday is on Friday, so looking at upgrading the mic. So I've definitely gotten some comments about that these first couple of weeks of the live commentary streams again. So looking to get some big upgrades there. Then we won't have any sound quality issues going forward, so that'll be nice. Austin Hill still logging in those laps led. 140 out of 156 has been led by Austin Hill. Caution for debris. It didn't look like it was the sheet metal laying on the racetrack. It looked like it was actually just the bare bond. So I would imagine the debris was maybe more for the foam that was laying in the track that the 8 had already picked up. NASCAR was probably just a little late, obviously, there with that caution. Luckily, under the yellow, the 8 was able to get the foam off of it. And I wonder how heavy that is, because I always thought it was a heavy piece of foam. If that might have put a hole in the nose of that 8 car. I feel like it's very likely that would have been the case.
Yeah, the Talkie Boys.
Hey, we've had a bit.
Producer.
We've had a bit of a wrestling match here in Atlanta. It's gotten physical late for the Xfinity Series, and the biggest moment about to unfold. Huge restart coming here. And we're going to get it with inside of 5 laps to go. Yes, it's been Austin Hill who's been in charge, winning both stages. He's led 140 laps here tonight. There's going to be a bunch of hungry drivers up there behind him when we return to the green flag. And we've talked a lot about these drivers inside the top 10. If you go outside the top 10, some really good stories there as well. We mentioned Leland Honeyman Jr. Boy, he's been impressive tonight. Had a good run, and at one point was 6th or 7th in this race.
This is the kind of runs I want to see out of Leland this year. You know, last year he was full time in that Young Motorsports number 42, but there was a lot of races where it was just like, hey, let's just learn. And for whatever reason, he's put himself in bad positions, getting damaged early, that sort of thing. But this race tonight has been methodical. It's been patient. He's put himself in the right positions. He's hung out in that top lane, and he's going to be rewarded for it if he can pull it off and continue that. Yeah.
William Sawalich, rookie driver's been good, doing double duty. Ran the truck race earlier today. Daniel Dye, having 2 years, and he's just been quiet, stayed in the game, finds himself party at the Benedetto, and another last week in Daytona, another one that is just hanging around, putting himself in position.
And if you look at that on the bottom, started 30th, every stage as we run keeps getting better. Pool, I had him as my dark horse last week at Daytona. I think he's a great driver on these type of racetracks. Again, having a great run after a disastrous Daytona.
Coming off a good season, 16th last year in the point standings of that 4th. Dylan?
Justin Allgaier runs in the 2nd spot right now. Jim Pullman calls the shots for him. So what has the conversation been between you and your driver? How aggressive you're going to be to get around this 21?
Well, yeah, I mean, these races always turn into super aggressiveness. So we got a couple good Chevys lined up there. Hopefully, we can work with our teammates, our Chevrolet teammates, and we bring them home for Chevrolet today. The Protector Millen Chevrolet's been really good, and just really brought all these guys on the team.
You guys had a couple of these slip away last year here. Really good here. How badly would you like to get one here and do it by getting around the 21?
Yeah, obviously the 21 has been king of Atlanta for a long time, and it'd be nice to get one from him. You know, the deal last year in the fall time it hurt. We had a really good car. Tonight, not as good, but here we are sitting second, so we'll see what we can do.
And they're within striking distance for sure. Allgaier in a good spot in 2nd.
He has one here, but that was before we went to the drafting configuration. Since we started drafting, Atlanta has not been great from 7. Let's drop back a little bit right behind it. In fact, Eric Almirola, a little radio. Maybe not happy with Sheldon Radio. You go.
Elmondale came down and said, is he mad at us? And I said, he hasn't been a word. Yeah, I wish you would know. I filled out. I mean, he said, oh, yeah, I'm mad at him. I mean, whether he helped me or not, I'd rather him help me. But when he didn't know if I was mad at him, he wouldn't help me.
You're going to have that in this type of racing. You know, I mean, like everybody is selfish. Everybody wants to do what's right for them. And you know, partner, when your car is on the edge, out of control, and somebody puts you in a bad position, your immediate reaction is to get frustrated and mad at them. Well, also, it's so hard to get track position and to hold it. And that makes you just, as a driver, so frustrated. You know, that's because you fight tooth and nail to get it, and you finally have it, and then another driver does something, and you're like, why? Why take that away? So it adds that frustration because of how hard it is to get that track position and to hold it. What about just Allgaier? You think he chooses right behind Austin Hill again? The last restart we saw him attached to him all the way down the back stretch. That didn't work out. What do you think he needs to do differently here? I take the front row and hope Sammy Smith has that chance to. Front row too. I think I would take my chances on that. Hope I get a push and could clear him. I've also been in this position a couple of Atlanta races. It didn't quite work out for me, but I felt like the bottom was the place to be, especially if you get a caution, whatever. You could maybe get a quick caution. You're in the lead. Now you're in control. Right, all you have to be is search the head just by a foot. Let's get it, and Sammy, let's go.
Hey, let's talk about it. Junior Motorsports Chevrolets going down low to work together. They got the 4 fine seam behind him up top. Austin Hill, Eric Almirola, Parker, Brett Slav. What a tremendous mix and experience inside the top 10. By the way, Austin Hill tonight. It's not been running Schmidt 4th with the green flag in the air. Going to try to finish the deal here, and we'll get the restart with 3 laps remaining. And think about this: 6 times we've been here in the wrap, 3 times races ended in overtime. We get a caution here, no doubt. We're going to get some free racing on this Saturday night. Now 17 radios. We anticipate the restart.
I want to win. I came here to win. Oh, yeah, let's go. We're having fun this year. Because it's the fun. Here we go. Oh, yeah.
I like a team decision.
And it's my championship now, right? The pressure, so I'll just go out and have some fun.
We haven't seen anybody be able to pass the 21 car with the exception of his teammate, Jesse Lund. I like this. If he can get a good push from Sammy Smith from behind, if that outside row of Herrick or Retzel decides to make it 3 wide, which is a possibility when you get down to the end of these races. That outside row, man, that's kind of only.
Well, we had a photo finish in the Craftsman truck race earlier today. What will be lurking for the Xfinity race? That was on a longer green flag run of 21 laps to the checker. Here in the Xfinity Series race, we are down to just 3 to go. Green flag in the air. Austin Hill, Justin Allgaier front row, and Allgaier leads at the line. Got a great push from his teammate Sammy Smith. Austin Hill. They're close as they get towards the exit of turn 2. The 19 did not give the 21 as good of a push. Allgaier is clear if he chooses to move up. And he does not. He waited too long. And here comes Hill again on the outside with the strongest car in the field. A second effort by Eric Almirola to push the 21 of Austin Hill. And we're nose-to-nose for the lead off turn 4. At the start-finish line, Hill leads the lap by inches, 2 to go. Almirola with another push to the 21 of Austin Hill. He's trying to break clear, so he has the best opportunity to try to win the race, but he has to get in front of the 7 of Allgaier first. Now he's going to drop back and try to get a run. It's the 4 of Retzlaff who pushes the 19 of Almirola, who gets into the back of Austin Hill in the middle of the corner. Hill's loose. He's sideways. Off turn 4. Almirola gets underneath him. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go this time by. Retzlaff pushes the 21 as they cross the stripe. The 19 leads. Contact. The 4 is up against the wall. We stay green. Hill back out in front into the first turn. 3 wide for about 6th place further back. And can Almirola get one more run? Now the 4's around. The 39 rather, up against the outside wall. Big wreck back straightaway. Caution flag is not out yet. We're racing back to the line. And it's Austin Hill who is going to get the win. It'll be a nose-to-nose battle for second as they bang fenders. Allgaier's going to get it, but most importantly there, the win going to Austin Hill. I guess NASCAR's just going to let him race back to the line nowadays. That was just like the Daytona 500 finish. Big wreck on the back straightaway, no caution. Austin Hill wins the race under green. Yellow comes out after the fact. Margin of victory there about 0.2 of a second. And a nose-to-nose finish for second place across the line between Allgaier and Almirola. "12 lead changes, 2 hours 23 minutes total time on the race. And we finished under the regulation length of 163 laps here today. Big wreck on the backstretch when the 4 of Retzlaff got loose again. Probably quite a bit of contact there. And a lot of cars were tore up. Austin Hill doing his burnouts on the front stretch. We'll go through the finishing order of this race once we get our race-winning interview from Hill. 9 cautions total. 8 of them, I do believe, and then the one after the checkered flag flew. Now, fireworks in turn 3. Yeah, I mean, that was just like the Daytona 500 finish where they just decided not to throw the caution all of a sudden. Racing back to the line, and Austin Hill gets the win yet again. Five of the last 6 Atlanta Xfinity races, Austin Hill has won 3 straight in the spring. Georgia native doing it in Georgia yet again. Almirola and Allgaier talking about their battle for second to the line. They don't look heated at all. Or at least Allgaier doesn't look heated.
We're talking Allgaier wants the 19 and 7.
Yeah, Eric did a great job trying to get there. Hill is unbelievable. That blocking right there. Looked like Eric was going to be in the right position, but we know how good the 21 car is. Renshaw comes up, gives Austin Hill that just a little bit of a shot going into turn one. And once he clears Eric on the outside, it's over.
And it's such a shame for Renshaw. He had a huge run, was doing an amazing job trying to get them not only the top 5 ever. Huge run for him, and it just didn't pan out. But overall, I mean, this move, bumping him, still not able to get him out of the movement and get on, get beneath him and pass him. That 21 car is so strong.
He needed to be on the outside, and he knew that. That was the initial move he made, was to get to the outside of the 21 car. The 21 knew that. Ended up giving him, letting him get to the inside. That's so cool to get to celebrate with their family. So jealous of him right now, getting to pick up those kids in the infield, his wife and his team. You mentioned on the sponsor logo.
So cool. That's 8 wins for Richard Childress Racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's the most all time. And that's the 99th victory in Xfinity Series history for RCR. One away from hitting the century mark. Here's Kim Finn.
Yeah, Austin Hill is going to get a high five from Son Barrett. Wow. Oh, man. All right, and the whole team's going to come in. Wow. Austin at Atlanta, celebrating again with son Barrett, daughters Kinsley, Lindley, wife Ashlyn. Wow. 145 laps led, but the win did not come without a challenge. I had Allgaier and Amarola in the mix. How did you hold them off?
Well, on that restart there, the 7 got clear. I cannot believe he didn't go top there down the backstretch. That was just a present for me, and got down in the corner, got clear of him. Then we came back around, and we were about to come to the white, and I drove into 3. I really didn't want the 19 to get to my right rear. Derek Nealon, my spotter, he's such a bad man. I'm not going to say what I want to say. He's a bad man up top, and he told me all night, just don't let him get to your right rear. And I was so worried about letting him get under me because he had a run, but I had help out back, was able to drag some brake as soon as I came off of 4. Kept the 4 with me. Thank you to Parker Retzlaff for giving me that push. And then once I got clear and I landed into 1, I was just wide open, and I was hoping that they wasn't going to build a momentum. But this Bennett Chevrolet was the size of the Xfinity Mobile. It's the Bennett 250. We have everyone here from Bennett. There's over 500 plus people here, men, women, you name it. And to be able to do this is something special. We were able to do it last year with the Gold Car for their 50th anniversary, and they sponsored the qualifying. And it looks like to me they need to sponsor some more NASCAR Xfinity races, because this has been some good omen for us. I'm so excited. I saw the trophy, but I didn't want to touch it because I didn't want to jinx anything up in the suite earlier at Bennett. And they were giving me some pressure. They were like, hey, you got to win this race. And I'm like, I'm going to give it all I got. And today we did that. And I want to give a huge shout out to everybody at RCR, ECR. Chad Haney, first career win as a crew chief. So cool for him. He's been working his tail off this all season. Him and I think, are going to work great together. So we're going to soak this one up, drink a lot of beer, and get ready for the next race.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
That is 8 drafting wins for Austin Hill.
Wow.
Share space with Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt at the top of the win list for drafting tracks.
He just continues to add his name to so many lists. And his 5th win at Atlanta.
Yeah, and all under the drafting configuration, of course.
We know Retzlaff gave Austin Hill that big push into turn 1, taking him to the win, and you see right there, Seat got into the back of Retzlaff, got him loose, but he gathered it up. It looked like they were all going to be okay. They get really tight over here off turn 2.
And he's already got that right side damage, so just that little tap on Shelby Creek lost his car to go around. And, it was unfortunate where he got hit, because that's the second portion of the dog leg there on the front stretch. That's really a portion where the car's light and then off of 2. Same situation.
And if you're
Retzlaff, Ryan C,
you want the push. You want the push down the backstretch. You're not mad. You want the push. You just couldn't hang on.
Some interesting names inside the top 10. We'll break that down.
All right, we'll go through the full field finishing order here. 100 and what was that? 146 laps led for Austin Hill out of 163 laps today. And he gets 60 points as he wins both stages and the race, giving him 9 playoff points already through the first 2 races of the season. He won 2 stages last week as well at Daytona. Justin Allgaier finishes in second, again margin of victory 0.2 of a second. Eric Almirola finishes in third. Sammy Smith fourth. Nick Sanchez fifth. And Jeb Burton in sixth. 7th place finish for Daniel Dye. Leland Honeyman in the 70 finishes in 8th with a top 10. Ended up being the underdog of the race when it looked like it was going to be Parker Retzlaff up until that final lap crash. William Sawalich finishes in 9th. And Harrison Burton back-to-back top 10s to start the season as he finishes in 10th. Jeremy Clements 11th, came back from that wreck earlier on, missed the final wreck, got a decent finish out of it. Matt DiBenedetto as well in 12th. Brandon Jones 13th after he had an incident earlier. Josh Williams involved in that same incident ends up 14th. Sheldon Creed 15th. Jesse Love 16th after leading a few laps early, started on the pole. Brendan Poole in 17th. Blaine Perkins 18th. Ryan Ellis 19th. And Ryan Sieg rounds out the top 20. And 21st was Joey Gase, Nick Lights 22nd, Garrett Smithley 23rd, CJ McLaughlin 24th, Carson Quapple 25th, Chris Wright 26th, Parker Retzlaff 27th, Mason Massey 28th, Christian Eckes 29th, Josh Balicki 30th, Mason Maggio 31st, Carson Ware 32nd, Kyle Sieg 33rd, Connor Zilich 34th out of the race, Dean Thompson 35th, Sam Ayer 36th, 37th for Anthony Alfredo, and Taylor Gray in 38th rounds out our field. Tough to tell who all DNF'd there just because we had several drivers on the last lap crash that didn't make it back to the checkered flag, so I'm not going to go through that. Again, 12 lead changes, 8 cautions under the green flag conditions. That last yellow, which it shows 9 at the top of the screen, was after they crossed the checkered flag. It ended up being 2 hours and 23 minutes when they crossed the start-finish line. Total time on today's race, and again, finished under our regulation length of 250 miles and 163 laps. And again, once more as well, margin of victory 0.2 of a second when Hill crossed the line ahead of Allgaier. 48 caution laps total in this race. Also, quite a few of those yellows, obviously, in the final stage. We only had 1 caution for incident. The first 90 laps in the first 2 stages had the 2 stage yellows at 45 and lap 90. So ended up having 5 of those 8 cautions all in the final 60 laps of this race. But ended it under green, nonetheless. Rocket Ship 4, thanks for tuning in. 7 gave that away, should be fired. I don't know about that. He just won the Xfinity Series Championship last year. I don't know about getting fired. I don't think he gave it away in the sense that Austin Hill had the fastest car all race. Definitely deserved this win, and he ended up getting it. It's hard to capitalize even when you have the fastest car in the field, I feel like, in NASCAR anymore, so he did a great job doing that. That's 2 drivers to lead the most laps so far today and in this weekend and win the race. Kyle Busch and Austin Hill, and both had to do it with the last lap pass for the win as well in their respected races. Photo finish in the truck race for Busch. Not a photo finish here in the Xfinity race, but definitely a wild last couple laps. And was able to get it. Eric Almirola led his first lap of the day as they crossed the line to get the white, but checkered flag is the one that matters the most. That's going to wrap up today's coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series Bennett Transportation and Logistics 250. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We will be live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow for our NASCAR Cup Series race coverage at Atlanta. It'll be the Ambetter Health 400, 260-lap race there, 400 miles. Can't wait to have another race here at Atlanta, which is fastly becoming one of my favorite tracks on the NASCAR circuit. What a day of racing we have seen so far. One more day still to go this weekend. Have a good rest of your Saturday night, everyone. See you tomorrow afternoon.